We are very much on our way to the pointy end of the season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you along for the ride for the third last instalment of Thursday Night Motorsport for Term 4 of 2024, with the rarity of the main course and the entree coming out of the same venue, the same playground tonight for a three-race program. This is the 8th round of GT4, coming to you from Circuit Zolder, and I hope you've got the umbrella handy. And then, of course, we stay here and we switch to the alternate configuration, and I'm not even terribly sure what that entails, quite frankly. We'll find out when we get there, for the third last round of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup Series, which is hanging on a knife's edge at the moment. Night 4, week 8, term 4 on the platforms of the GSRC, and it promises to be an absolute beauty. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caban. Alongside me tonight, Daniel Benefield in the background, punching the buttons and producing the broadcast for you. We've got both Josh Zuno and also Daniel Correa-Sarr. Live updates from Thursday night cricket coming your way throughout the broadcast, because the Women's Big Bash is at the pointy end of the term as well. So plenty to keep an eye on tonight. If you've got your sports bar set up, us on one screen, the cricket on the other, folks. Same again tomorrow night when we're back at the conclusion of the first day's play between Australia and India from the Optus Stadium in Perth. Let's have a look at the circuit and the setting for tonight. There you go, 17 degrees is the track temperature at the moment, 18 the ambient, and we're at 10:30 in the morning, November 20, 2024, 10 kilometre an hour winds in a mostly southerly direction, and 93% that humidity rating at the moment. No wonder it's tipping down. 3.95 kilometres this circuit, B's proverbial away from 4 kilometres, and it's the lesser of the known two Belgian venues, of course. In a couple of weeks' time, we will go to the more famous, more synonymous Belgian venue in Spa-Francorchamps, of course, for the GT3 finale. But Circuit Zolder has its own rich history, and it offers up some terrific racing in its own right. Daniel Benefield, good evening to you. I mentioned the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship is hanging on a knife's edge at the moment, but so too is this GT4 challenge.
It's the battle of the Sams in GT4. Muir and Chapman in 2 Porsche Cayman GT4s going for the championship as we get the standings up. Chapman with a 4-point lead over Muir. Bear in mind, this is now including drop rounds, so this is how it is till the end. We know the exact situation coming into these last 3 rounds.
275 plays 271. Sean Lindsell on 229. Only a couple back, of course, not on the grid tonight, still on his vacation with the family up in Queensland. 222 for Adam Lavers, 215 for Jack Atkinson. So those battles for the minor placing still alive and well as well. Tim Harris not too far away on 206. Then Alex Court, Dale Sharp, Michael Adams and John Merritt making up the top 10. Last week it was sprint racing. It was Sam Chapman doing the double at Mid-Ohio. Tonight we have the first of 3 consecutive 40-minute races to round out the campaign. The sprint portion of the season is behind us. Now, like GT3, all eyes on the 40-minute drawn-out format, more synonymous with these cars, of course, to take us through to the final round of the season. It's Donington Park next week. In fact, it probably would have been more appropriate if it rained there, not here, given Britain's association with wet weather and fixation with it as well. As you see, switch over to the race server, and the rain still present, ladies and gentlemen. 19 degrees the ambient, and now 17 on track. 3 o'clock server time. 6 kilometre an hour winds in a west to northwesterly direction. And now, of course, we will look at the grid for you as they line up. Repeating that final round of the championship, finishing off that point, is at the Watkins Glen circuit in upstate New York on the full configuration, the boot layout of the circuit. Once again, Daniel Benefield summed it up perfectly. It's the battle of the 2 Sams. There they are. 4 tenths covered Chapman and Muir in qualifying, but it'll be a heck of a lot closer than that, I would suspect, in these wet conditions. But this is an unknown sort of venture that we're about to embark upon, ladies and gentlemen, because the battles that we've seen throughout the course of the season have been, for the most part, in the dry. So this does throw a cat amongst the pigeons, a spanner in the works, so to speak. Adam Lavers and Jack Atkinson, the second row. Watch Jack too, because the Ponds love the rain. Robert McGrath, Michael Adams, third row. Alex Court, Luke Turner back on the grid, 4th row. Craig Bond in the top 10, very nicely done. and David Christensen alongside him, rounding out the top 10. We've got a field of 20 tonight. Phil King is yet to join the grid, but if he does, it'll be on the back of not setting a time in qualifying. Nor did Ash Dodson, nor did Kurt Normanson, nor did Eduardo Zamora. So they're going to burn from the stern down there. The completion of the field for those that did complete a time in qualifying, or set a time at least, were Rodney Gollan and Dale Sharp from row 6, Tim Ward and Mitch Wood from 7, Ash Stacey and Paul Wood from 8. We're all in position. We should have the pace car pulling off any tick of the clock. And a field... Oh, hang on. Where's Chapo? Come on. There he is. Jumping into position at the very last second. We will ride on board with Sam Muir at the moment. And Daniel, I mentioned the wet weather. Chapo had the better luck of it, run-of-the-mill there in qualifying. Sam Muir now kicks into gear and goes with him as we take off behind the safety car. How do you see it playing out over 40 minutes? Who's your money on?
It's a hard track, particularly it's particularly narrow, very single line, particularly through the 2 chicanes, the second of which we just went through to start this formation lap. So it's all going to be about keeping it on the road like it was at Phillip Island a few weeks ago, the last time we saw GT4 in the wet. Keep an eye out on Robert McGrath as well, just as we come around to green, because he is apparently on dry tyres. So I don't think that's going to be the correct decision.
That's a rookie error.
Based on the fact he's sliding the car on the formation lap.
He's going to be in a little bit of trouble here as Robert McGrath. The rest of the field will make their way to green. Caroline King reporting the mechanical issues of the sim world plaguing Phil King's progress tonight, with some internet connection issues there, frustration on his part, and I can sympathise with that. He's not the only one going through those issues tonight. The field will come to the main straight at a very moderate tempo, and just like that, round 8 of the championship is underway from Circuit Zolder in Belgium. Let's go! Very drawn out start, single file actually, rows 3 and 4. Chapman wide at the first corner and in the gravel as well. He's not the only one, but it's important with regards to the championship fight. Craig Bond slipped round to the first corner as well. Robert McGrath, unsurprisingly, the car out wide in the dirt. That was always going to be troublesome for him, given that he started on the dry tyres. He's on pit road on the tow rope. Eduardo Zamora's off the road as well. Sam Muir's going to lead this field away, and Jack Atkinson already up to second. Michael Adams to third. The outside line pays dividends off the outset here. The outside line. Outside row 1, outside row 2, outside row 3. 2, 4 and 6 run 1, 2 and 3 on the racetrack as we ride on board with Chapman on the comeback trail already. Luke Turner up into 6th spot. Alex Court, the only person in the field at the moment to remain in exactly the same place he started.
Chapo had the jump off the start really, but then threw it way too deep into the first corner and just understeered off the road. He cost himself 4 positions as we ride on board with him coming towards the end of Sector 2 now. But something I noticed immediately, and it'll be interesting to see given the fact that it is raining, Zach, Chapo already on the fuel save. So I wonder if he's got to try and no stop tonight.
That wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. Now off goes Kurt Normanson as well in the Mercedes. Interesting to note, Porsche's 1, 2, 3 at the moment. There are 6 of them in the top 10, also 3 BMWs and a Mercedes. There's an Aston Martin in the field in the form of Ash Stacey, no McLarens tonight. Phil King parked up and done. Robert McGrath has also parked up and exited stage left as well. We cross the start-finish line. We complete the first lap, 1 minute 55.724 on the run down to turn 1 for the second time. So the fact that the weather situation remains as wet as it was, if not wetter than what we saw in qualifying, means that this will be a very drawn-out night in terms of lap times here, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute 55, so that's going to be 2 laps every 3 minutes 50. You're not getting much change out of 4 minutes, but it would make it much easier if you did, because we'd be able to calculate it accordingly. But let's see, 3 minutes 50 and 2 is 7 minutes 40 and 2 is 11 minutes 30, so you're getting 6 laps in 11 and a half minutes, which gives you 18 laps in 34 and a half. which means that you've got 5.5 to home. So we're only looking at about 21 laps here tonight, if I've done the maths right. That's pending whether we see a pit stop or not.
It's also pending on the weather, Zach, because it's actually the spot the windscreen wipers going on here for Michael Adams in third, in behind Jack Atkinson. It's actually not raining, so it wouldn't surprise me if the track improves, and it might even dry up to the point where, as we have Blinkerbill for Atkinson and a bit of contact as well.
Michael Adams into the rear of the blinking Jack Atkinson. And off goes Luke Turner. Off goes Luke Turner. The BMW's come unstuck. In the meantime, here comes Adams down the inside of Atkinson. Trying again. Atkinson holds on for the moment. Adams gives him a nudge. Coming back onto the main straight. Let's see what the times are this time round for Sam Muir as he leads the field to the end of the second lap. 1:49.850. Okay, so it becomes 6 laps every 11 minutes, which means 18:33, which probably gets us to 22, based on those numbers. However, if the track does continue to dry, there's every chance that they might get a 23rd lap in. But at the moment, think about 22, ladies and gentlemen. That's about where the number sits. Very hard to play Zach Bingo in the rain. Very hard. What about this for a fight, though? Adams standing on the gas, chasing Atkinson through. They're up 2 and 3 spots, respectively. Adam Laver sits fourth. Sam Chapman back there in fifth, just pushing Adam along at the moment. Those two will be up to their usual tricks. They're both equally as good at playing the fuel-safe game as each other, but Adam's doing it at the BMW and Chapo's doing it in the Porsche. Here goes Adams down the inside of Atkinson. It's actually up the outside in the end, and around the outside he goes, but he's got to pull it up for the inside. Yes. Very nicely done. Slickly done from Adams. He was a little bit slidey through, or slippery through the chicane, but he did enough to gather it up and keep Jack Atkinson at bay. Adams is up 4 spots, and off goes Mitch Wood.
Just using the grip around the outside, there was Adams as Atkinson looking towards the inside, can't get it done into the right-hander. But yeah, Adams just using the grip around the outside through the left-hander, which gave him ideal track position for the chicane, and as a result he's taken second. Sam Muir will be edging these guys on though, because he's already out to almost 4 seconds. It's sitting about 3.8, but I think he's gone a bit easier into the chicane there. This is Luke Turner. Has he spun himself around on the curb? Yes, he has. A little self spin, and right in front of Alex Cole. Actually,
No. That's unlucky. That's Paul Wood.
I think that might have broken the suspension on the Luke Turner BMW as well. I couldn't quite see, as this is the sole Aston in the field. Ash Stacey outbraking himself. It looks like he just had no grip actually on the racing line there, and very slight. Paul Wood.
Paul Wood's in the thing of it, honestly.
Paul Wood's got two.
Already.
Paul Wood's got 2 4Xs and about 1.5 kilometres. This is now Mitch Wood. So, and he's had a massive tank slapper through the left-hander of all places. And has he made the wall? No.
Yep. Rodney Gollan also reporting that his internet has died. Kurt Nomenson's parked up as well. He's done for the night, having got on the tow rope. So something's happened to Kurt. We'll see if we can track that down. Jack Atkinson slides into third in the meantime, settles in. We're down to 16 on the racetrack. So the attrition rate is high already. We started with 19. We are now down to 16. This is what happened to Kurt. Uh-oh. Pull it up, Kurt. Pull it up. No. Off the road, and I think whilst that's a minor incident, that might have just signified that it was going to be that sort of a night for Kurt, and he's had enough. Michael Adams off the road. Michael Adams off the road, and Kurt that was what it was. Kurt went wide coming onto the main straight, clattered the wall, and broke the suspension that way. Okay, so in the meanwhile, Michael Adams, we need to go and have a look at this because Jack Atkinson has moved his way into second position, and Chapo up to fourth, Lavis up to third. Adams has lost 3 spots as a result of what the boys will track down on the off-track alerts in just a moment. We'll see that very shortly on the Spreyton Cider replay. The onboards are brought to you by Spreyton Cider as well. Here we go, Michael Adams. Down to the same chicane. No, sorry, it's not the chicane. It's the right-hander at the end of the back straight.
This is a
Same
carbon.
area as Kurt Normanson come undone. Sorry, Daniel.
This is the carbon copy of what Ash Stacey did. And he just went too late, didn't have the grip. He's Chapo on the rejoin as well, by the way. Not quite a bit. But yeah, Ash Stacey copy, essentially. He didn't have the grip on the racing line and just completely outbrake himself and went straight ahead. This has really stretched out the top 5 is now Adams on the inside of Chapman into the chicane. And it's going to be done. Chapo's going to let him have it.
Ta, thanks for coming. All right. Chapo, is he up to his usual tricks with fuel save? Is that why he was so content to let Adams go?
Oh. Bit of a slide for Adams there through the left-hander, but yeah, it looks like Chapo on the fuel save again. It's really stretched out though, the front group, because now Muir's out to 4.5 or just under over Atkinson, but Atkinson to Lavis is almost out to 3 seconds now, so this is very much becoming a 3-car fight for third now rather than a 4-car fight for second.
And Muir is going like a scalded cat, but the pace hasn't improved. It's still in the 149s. We are still in the 149s at the moment. Here's David Christensen giving Alex Corr to hurry up to the right-hander. Now, I think as well, gentlemen, the proof is in the pudding with regards to, I think we might have worked out what circuit Zolder Alt stands for. Just have a look as they come down here to the final corner. See that bit of bitumen covered off by witches' hats at the moment?
Yeah, that's great.
That might be exactly where we're going with the Porsches a little bit later on, Daniel.
It is indeed. It's a left flick and then a right flick. More like the classical layout. Adams looks on Lavis. Can't get it done in one. But that Porsche, that green Porsche, has a lot of pace.
And a lot of ambition as well. He's a man on a mission tonight. Very much fired up and ready to rock and roll. Here's Tim Ward. Under pressure. Oh, jeez. So Dale Sharp gets on by. Ash Dodson wants to capitalise on that as well. Can't do so. Rodney Gollan has been able to resume as well, boys. He's been able to reconnect and rejoin. Now Adams to the outside, Lavis to the inside. And then Lavis got across and hugged the ripple strip to keep Adams at bay. Chapo just sitting in there patiently at the moment.
And while these two battling means that Chapo can keep up despite the fuel safe, he's losing time hand over the fist to both Sam Muir and Jack Atkinson. Muir out to 5.5 second lead now over Atkinson, another 3.5 back to Lavis. So it's 9 seconds between Muir and Lavis at the moment in this battle that we're watching. Just starting to settle down. Adams looks like he has great pace, but as I said earlier, it's such a narrow track, and even in the dry it's a narrow track, never mind in the wet, which makes it just that bit more narrower again. It means it's very hard to make a pass.
I don't want to stitch our directors up too much, but can we go back to side by side for just a moment, just so I can show everybody at home the subtle changes that you blokes are making week in, week out, and the gradual improvements to the product. I want to show everybody at home the subtle differences. You're still just going to see the same information, and you're still going to see, oh, have a look at this, Adams to the inside. No, not this time. Lavis covers him up and keeps him at bay. Still. And look at Atkinson. He's, sorry. Yes, Adams on Lavis. Atkinson is the one that's bolted up the road. I was right with that. Tim Harris, I think I missed Quali. Yes. Great to have you on board, mate. I don't think you had to worry so much about Quali. Not on a sprint night. Sorry, it's not a sprint night, so therefore you should have been able to join the server and rock and roll. It's a shame you're not out there on the racetrack. However, if you're not a fan of wet weather, then you're probably not missing this at all. Come back next week. The remaining 2 races are 40 minutes apiece, so you can actually join right up until the end of the Quali server. Now, there's side-by-side for you, folks. Now, the dead giveaway for me, and this has only become evident in the last couple of weeks, as we ride on board with Adams on the left, and we're watching the battle for 8th on the right. Ash Dodson holding off Dale Sharp and Tim Ward as well, while Lavis sliding through. You might notice the outline on the graphics. It's blue on Daniel's side and yellow on Josh's side. You can tell that we've got the totem pole that you normally see top left of your screen down the bottom. The track normally out the top, down the bottom as well. Adams gets into the back of Lavis. No harm, no foul for the moment. And Chapman's just sitting there waiting for it all to blow up so he can sweep through and clean up the pieces. So yes, that's the giveaway. Left is main broadcast screen coming courtesy of Daniel SR. Right is Josh Zuno's best work. They've got the same info, the same graphics package, etc. and so forth, but it's just a slightly different tint on Daniel's side to Josh's. So that's the point of difference that I've noticed. I'm sure everyone else around Australia has noticed as well. And up the top tells you. So actually, that's very clever how the boys have done that. They've got the totem pole down the bottom, split up as best they can, 13 places per column. And on the right, on the top left, you've still got the information of the category, the race, the lap time, and of course, or the lap count and the time left on the clock. So well done, boys. We're enjoying side by side, and I'm sure everybody else at home is as well. It's been a work in progress. They've chipped away at it right throughout the course of the term, and it's outstanding in the closing stages of Term 4 of 2024. And it was a discussion that really picked up in intensity, the idea of going side by side as soon as we worked with the boys from SRW a few weeks back with the Interclub Challenge, which we've got more information on later tonight as well, folks. If you haven't already been informed, yes, put it in your diary. There's another Interclub Challenge coming up before the end of the term, before Christmas. Sorry, I'm trigger warning for some people. It's not December 1 yet. I shouldn't be swearing like that in prime time. Michael Adams, fourth at the moment, following Adam Lavis. The gaps, as you say, Daniel Betterfield, not just ballooning out first to second, but now second to third. And Adams all of a sudden got a little bit of breathing space on Michael, and Michael's building a gap back to Chapo. So it's clear that Chapo's running to a number. Muir's got us into the 48s, 1:48.926, and he is 9 seconds clear. Muir is 9 seconds up the road on Jack Atkinson, so you can tell that Muir's not fuel saving.
No, I think Atkinson might have actually made a mistake last night because he did a 50.9, even compared to these guys. He lost out 9/10 to Adam Lavis. We'll see what the times are as they come around this time. And it's 50.4 for Atkinson, 50.0 for Lavis, 49.3 for Adam. So that's proof that that Porsche in the middle of this train has a lot of pace, as Lavis has a massive slide, and this is going to let Adam straight up the inside into 2. But Lavis holds it around the outside.
Yep, and that's the interesting thing, isn't it? So, yes, the invitation was there, but it wasn't taken. Adams just couldn't get the run on the inside because all the grip is on the outside of the corners at the moment. It's like the old rule of go-karting. In the rain, go to the outside. That's where the grip lies. And Adam Lavis proved that right there. Michael Adams has got to set it up and do it all over again. Now under brakes. Can he get the job done? No. Lavis holds on once more. BMW versus Porsche. We're getting a real insight into just how evenly matched these two cars are in these conditions. Rain not necessarily easing either, Daniel. Yes, yeah, there's not as much rain, but the track isn't drying anymore. So all that talk about lap times dropping, here we are, we're on lap 9, and it hasn't been a factor yet.
No, it hasn't. I think there's still some showers around because I'm pretty sure, no, it's not raining now, but it was raining again earlier on. As we go side by side with the cars in third and fourth. This is Lavis on the left, Adams on the right. Just while we're watching this, I've been keeping an eye on the lap times. Chapo needs to be careful here because Alex Court and David Christensen are coming at him pretty quickly at the moment as well. So Chapo might fall further down. I know he's probably driving to a fuel number, but he's also risking losing track position to a Mercedes and another Porsche that's about 5 seconds behind him there at the moment. As into turn 1 we go as we complete lap 9. Well, these guys do. Sam Muir did that about 15 seconds earlier than these guys. Up ahead. They are catching Atkinson though in second, so this group of 4 cars is slowly becoming a group of 4 cars again.
Indeed it is. And Ash Stacey now on pit lane as well. So we'll have to see what's happened there to Ash. The Aston on pit road and parked up and done. That's another retirement, our 6th of the night, pending, of course, that, or noting, of course, that Phil King was a non-starter. This is what happened to Stacey coming up towards the final corner. Oh, don't tell me he's going to do a Kurt. Normanson, no, not quite. Kurt's exit was more spectacular than that, and he joins us in the commentary box now. Mate, unlucky.
Yeah, part of it was just I'm in a bit of pain from work today, so got a bit distracted coming out of that last corner and drove it into a fence.
And broke the suspension, I believe.
Yeah, I snapped the steering, the suspension. I did the whole lot. If I got to do it, I got to do it right.
Yeah, exactly. Only way out. There's Rodney Gollan having a spin as well on replay. I mean, Circuit Zolder was always going to be a challenge, but throw in the water, oh boy.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that I didn't get any practice or quali in because I got stuck at work with the new one starting and we had to teach him what was going on. So ended up running late at work and got no laps even in quali to get a feel for the car on the track.
Daniel Betterfield's comments about the weather. You can tell visibly on your screen there, ladies and gentlemen, that the rain has returned to Circuit Zolder. So any chance we had of drying this track out as we hit the halfway mark, bar 90 seconds, so that we're 10 laps in. We've got another at least 12 where that came from by my count. We're at 22 past 3 in the afternoon. The wind is a strong nor'wester, and it's 19 degrees ambient, 17 on track. That hasn't changed from the outset. 94% humidity, and we can tell you that yes, the rain has returned. 18 and a half, 19 minutes now into the race, and any hope we had of drawing this racetrack has all but evaporated. Have a look at this fight. Second, third, fourth and fifth. Atkinson's 1 second away from Lavis, who's got Michael Adams all over him like a cheap suit. Sam Chapman's not too far away. Alex Court and David Christensen are arguing over sixth at the moment. Oh, that was a lot of curb. He was lucky not to bring the car unstable there. Now, behind that, Tim Ward, Dale Sharp, Craig Bond sitting 11th under pressure from Paul Wood at the moment, and Mitch Wood is 13th. Everybody else parked up and done, with the exception of Rodney Gollan, who's a lap and a half, about to be 2 laps down because Muir is within sight of him, within striking distance. So that was after an early packet loss for him, and you can tell that the puddles are forming once more. Kurt, that's disappointing. Work getting in the way of leisure. What next for you, please?
Might be a bit tender tomorrow. Had a bit of an incident at work, so I probably won't do down.
Dale Sharp. Sorry, mate. Off goes Dale Sharp. Sharpie's going to drop down behind Craig Bond, Paul Wood, Mitch Wood, and it's going to elevate Bondy into the top 10. He started 9th, he had a moment at turn 1, and he's back into the top 10. Dale Sharp off the road in 13th now, and on the tow rope as we watch this replay.
I wonder if it's going to be similar to what we saw Rodney Gollan do. Oh, it's a big snap through the left-hander. That was what we...
That's aquaplane.
I think it was Mitch Wood that we saw as kind of similar, and it's completely broken that front left suspension corner as well in that BMW. Similar to Mitch Wood, the little moment we saw, except with a bit more dire consequences.
Sorry, I had to jump in there, Kurt. Go on, mate. You were saying?
Yeah, and not going to be doing downforce legend tomorrow like I wanted to. Yeah, ribs might be a bit sore, so focus towards Monday and next week and try and do a bit better that one.
And here is David Christensen giving Alex Court a real hurry up. Oh, Sam Chapman's gone. Sam Chapman was off the road. You may have caught him in the shot there. The boys went past him. He was on their left-hand side. He was in the gravel. Another championship moment here and now.
He's made the wall as well.
Aquaplaned.
Too much exit. There's too much water out there, and he's put it straight in the fence. Oh. We talked so much about how consistent Chapo's been this season, and this race just could be what brings him undone in terms of this championship fight.
And now look at Michael Adams on the outside of Adam Lavis. Is this the moment for him to get it done? No. It looked like he was aquaplaning through there as well. It's getting wetter at Zolder. It's hosing down. And Adams now having a look on the inside, coming down to the final chicane on Adam Lavis and still not able to find a way by. Geez, Adams driving well. Great defence work from Adam Lavis to hold down position number 3. Adams got to run up onto the main straight. He'll go to the outside. They're eyeing off Jack Atkinson as well. Adams will try and go around the outside at 1 to set it up for 2. Lavis on the inside. Adams the outside again. Lavis holding on. Beautifully done. Dale Sharp rejoining the race at the back of shot as well. Look at this. Bare inches between them. Lavis and Adams at the moment. And the battle between Court and Christensen continuing as well. Also, Ward, Bond and Wood arguing over ninth. There's a lot to be excited about here at the 22 3/4 minute mark. 17 1/4 minutes to go. We're circulating lap 13. Times have slowed. They're outside the 1 minute 50s now. Even the race leader, Muir, who leads by 12.3 seconds. And the more it hoses down, the probably more it's going to help with fuel saving for all and sundry, not just Chapo, who is persevering with a damaged car, I might add, down in 7th place. He's 5 seconds off Christensen and Court, but 12 seconds, more importantly, up the road from Dodson. And I'm really glad at this particular point, gentlemen, that I'm here in the commentary box with you and not driving in this rubbish.
Oh, big slide for Lavis coming, and another one actually coming through the right-hander after the chicane. The BMW seems to be good on the brakes, but on traction, the Porsche is so much better. Michael Adams, he's going to defend here as Lavis goes defensive. Oh, touch of the water, and Lavis holds off once again.
Normally it's Spa. Oh, here we go, the up and under, the crossback, the switchback. Adams on Lavis. He got a good run out of the corner, but Lavis has managed to cover him off. And Christensen and Court. Court wins that battle for the moment. Christensen lost a little bit of ground. Round onto the main straight. Back they come. Atkinson comfortable in second at the moment. It's only 2 seconds, but it's an inch is as good as a mile here. 24 minutes gone. 13 laps gone. Sam Muir the leader. 11 and a half seconds the margin as they come to turn one once more. Can't take your eyes off this, folks. Some top shelf driving from all and sundry out there tonight. Rodney Gollan off the road again. But he gets back going. Oh, hang on. Is that him parked up there? Yes, it is. So
I think he's just waiting.
Patiently waited, yeah. If you're already 3 laps down, then what's it matter? Well, 2 laps in his instance, yeah. So Dale Sharp has got back out there, and he too is a lap down. Oh, Paul Wood under pressure there from Mitch Wood, and Craig Bond just ahead of them, trying to catch up to Tim Ward.
So interesting, I wonder if Muir made a mistake last lap, because Atkinson was 1.2 seconds faster the previous time round, and the gaps still continued to come down. It started at 11.5 seconds this lap. It's down to 11 now, actually down to 10.8. So does Muir have traffic? No, he doesn't have traffic, so I wonder if he's just backed it off a bit, either to fuel save and try and no stop, or just because the congestions are getting treacherous as Adams looks to the outside of Lavis again. He goes in so deep into that right-hander and he's borderline out of control.
So, Kurt, just for the benefit of everybody at home, the ribs, I mean, is that a work-related issue? And if so, what does that mean for work for the rest of the week, please?
Yeah, well, it's work-related. I got backed into at work, so bit of a fun one, but I'll still be at work. It'll just be a bit tender, and I'll just have to take it easy and not do as much heavy lifting.
You might just have to get a rib protector for the sim rig, mate.
Yeah, it sounds like I'll have to go get the go-kart one out.
That's it, exactly. There's a solution to everything, we know that. Ash Dodson off the road now, so too Rodney Gollan again. Gollan just ceding position, being that he is 2 laps down. And Samuel's lead has been trimmed to 10.8, important to note. And yeah, it is getting heavier out there. It is torrential. Just have a look there too, by the way, at the flames coming off. Were there flames coming off the back of the Porsche just then? I'm sure I saw some flame work going on there. Or was it the reflection of the sun bouncing up onto the back of the car? I'm not sure.
I think it was the reflection in the water, actually.
Yeah, spectacular imagery. It just looked sensational. But I was like, hang on, that's not a McLaren. And so that's what threw me. I was like, hang on, what's going on here? Paul Wood has had to come to pit lane, 6.37 seconds. He was stationary for now. Whether that was to repair some damage or get some fuel, I'm not sure. And that's the other crucially important point here to discuss, boys. We're 15 laps in. No one, unless they've been damaged or otherwise, has entertained the idea of coming to pit lane. So who can stretch this as far as the next person? Who can make this to the end because of the fuel save ability or capability of cars in wet weather conditions? Slower lap times less fuel burn, etc. and so forth. All those little factors to take into consideration. Muir and Atkinson. Atkinson has lost out to Muir that time around, and the margin out to 11.1 seconds once more. 28 minutes gone and 12 minutes to go. 7 laps to home. Sam Muir in control. Adam Lavis loses out to Michael Adams. The one split second we take our eyes off them. Michael Adams is through to third. Again, not for the first time tonight. Oh, the old sucker punch. I'll go one way and sucker you into going the other, and I'll switch back. Oh, Lavis throwed it wide as well. Oh, boy.
Lavis throwing himself right really gave it to Michael Adams on a platter, really. And while we were looking at the leader and that replay, David Christensen has also moved up into 5th ahead of Alex Court as well. And he's already gapped him by almost 1.5 seconds as well. Here's the replay of that. Looks like a mistake for Court trying to get the power down of the right-hander and down the back straight. And Christensen's just driven around him. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. So, yeah. Wowee. The two defining moments. Christensen finally breaks clear at Court. Adams, for the second time tonight, gets by Adam Lavis. And again, the guys that started 2, 4, and 6 are 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack. The outside of the first, second, and third row here. Back we come. A rare. So that was actually good craftsmanship, good gamesmanship from Michael Adams to lure Adam Lavis into the idea of him having a look up on the outside at 1 and then quickly switch to... Oh, he's bolted off the road! He's bolted off the road into the wall! We spun too soon! Michael Adams has gone off for the second time tonight! And I'm not sure he can drive it out of there.
The right front suspension, as you can see, is completely breaking. There's the toe. I don't know if he seemed to go really deep, so I don't know if he was actually trying to come in for his stop or not and just aquaplaned the whole way. Obviously, the pit exit hasn't been used. Pit entry, sorry, hasn't been used, and neither has the pit exit. But it's going to be way more slippery than normal. He's completely out of control. I think he's tried to come into the pit lane and just completely misjudge how wet the pit entry is going to be and put it straight in the wall.
Dodson, Wood, and Wood all on pit road. Dodson, Bond, and Wood. Dodson, Bond, and Wood have all come to pit road. Paul Wood has been to pit road. Tim Ward came to pit road at the end of lap 16 as well. At the start of lap 16, I should say, because he's registering as though he's on lap 16 at the moment. So that's a misread on our part. 36.60 seconds for Tim Ward. So that is a lengthier pit stop than you'd probably expect. So now, all eyes on that battle at the top end of the tree. Can Sam Muir get all the way without stopping? What about Jack Atkinson? Adam Lavis, I reckon, would be able to fuel save. If anyone in this field is going to fuel save, it'll be Adam Lavis and Sam Chapman. Watch Sam Muir, though. To pit road? No. He's going to go around again. The end of lap 17. So, 9 minutes to go. 5 laps to go. Based on those numbers. However, a transit of the lane may well impact those numbers. We come to turn 1 once more. Look at the lead that Muir has opened up. 9.5 seconds to Atkinson.
What's happened to Lavis?
Yes, good point.
Christensen
Lavis has had a moment.
Close. Very close.
Lavis has had his second moment of the night because Atkinson's ballooned out to 17 seconds ahead of Adam Lavis. Here it is. Curb.
I can't remember which BMW did it at the start of the race, but it's pretty much the same mistake. And then he struggled to get it back going as well. It's just hemorrhage time.
I was going to finish the point about Michael Adams, but it seems redundant now considering that he's bolted off the road and smashed it into the wall and come back out on the racetrack a lap down. 1 minute 16.28 that stop cost him, and he's down in 10th place. There are now just 12, 13 runners left in the race, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Wood, the latest retirement, actually. So what's happened to Woodsy? Paul Wood is parked up. and is showing 14th on our screen, and this is how it happened.
I wonder if this is going to be a repeat of what we saw Mike Ladd. It is.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing as what Mike Ladd did.
Bang.
Probably not to the same dramatic effect, but essentially the same mistake. And it's broken the right front suspension.
Woodsy hates the ovals. He can't get his head around ovals, and I think Wentworth's about to be thrown into the same pool for him.
I'm sure no pun intended there, Zach.
None at all.
I'll tell you what, the manufacturers are getting their suspension.
Absolutely. If you're a car builder and you specialise in repairs and suspension, body damage and whatever else, you're getting your money's worth, you're getting your salary's worth of income and work tonight. Just like real world people would have been in Adelaide last week, funnily enough. By gee, there was some carnage there. Now, 6.5 minutes to go, boys.
Still no pit stops for Liz. This is Craig Bond, who's come out behind Mitch Wood. So Mitch Wood actually jumped Craig Bond in the pit stops. He was a second faster on the lane, and now Bondy trying to get his way back by the Mercedes.
Josh Duno, who's in our booth here with us tonight, and hearing every word we're saying. Oh, Bondy, hold it done. Great save. Great save from Bond. But look at the water on the racetrack. He's fighting with that Bimmer. He's 9th at the moment. He's exactly where he started. It's a battle for survival out there for all and sundry. So for Bondy, oh, hang on. Look at Mitch Wood. All crossed up and out of shape coming around the right-hander. He keeps the foot into it and keeps it straight.
The insane thing there, I think Mitch Wood actually gained time by being completely out of control as Bondy. I thought he was having to look from a long way back there. But this is a great battle.
I'll tell you exactly what Bondy's up to. He'll know because he listens to the broadcast. He has our YouTube feed on in his ears whilst he's out there racing. So he'll have heard us talking about the guys that are coming into the final corner. So he'll have been looking out for that water. Oh, look at Wood. Sliding through turn 1, Bond's the same. They're heading up towards turn 2. So it's a combination of two things. See all that mist and spray being kicked up onto the screen at the moment. He'd be trying to get a clear look at things. That's number 1. Number 2, Sam Muir and Jack Atkinson are on pit road. So that answers the next question with regard to who can fuel save and who can't their way to the checkered flag. The third thing is that Bondy would be aware that all the aquaplaning's happening on the outside on the racing line coming into that final corner. He'll have heard what had happened to Paul Wood and also to Michael Adams, and he would have been opting for mid-track to try and avoid those puddles. So good race awareness from him. Sometimes you can get a hint or two just by tuning into the broadcast booth. Out goes Sam Muir.
So the interesting thing with Sam Muir, I thought he might have been saying to try and avoid the stop, but I guess not because he's pitted. But he drops, I think the gap between him and Atkinson got as low as 7 seconds, 7.5 seconds before they stopped. And, well, Chapo might be fuel saving, and he might be the net leader if he's trying the no stop. But depending how much fuel he's got left, it may not last for long.
No, Sam Muir's only 1.4 seconds behind him at the moment. Keep your eyes on that, ladies and gentlemen. Lavis and Christensen are also worth keeping an eye on because the teammates are 1 and 2 at the moment. But how long are they out there for? We're 4 minutes from the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you an indication as to what that means lap times when we get back to the line. But my gut feeling is it's 2 laps at the line. Yeah, we're getting back well within the time parameters to get this to 22 laps, and that's even with the stop. So with that in mind, they've got to get to 22. Can Chapman get to 22? That is the question. It will be a Herculean effort if he can. At what cost? Atkinson, Court, Dodson, all lining up if he has to come to pit road.
Look how much damage there is on the front of that Porsche from when he nosed it into the wall on the outside of turn 3 earlier on. The other thing, if these top 3 do no stop, I think Sam Muir might still be within a shout of the win. Even with 2 laps to go, we'll come around to finish lap 20. And the top 2, the Aussie racer cars are in. Chapo will go around again though. I think Chapo might be trying to go to the end here, but Lavis and Christensen are in.
So Lavis and Christensen made it to lap 20. The boys get us back to start the penultimate lap. with 2.5 minutes on the clock. So we will do about 1 minute and 20 of overtime here, folks, or somewhere in that vicinity. But that's okay, because we're enjoying this. I can't say the same for the drivers. You've already seen and heard that race control and race organisers have been sworn at by 1P Wood for the rain server this afternoon. I'm sure Wood's sentiments will be shared by a few out there who are frustrated with how tonight played out for them. But all eyes on these two. It is certainly appropriate. The champion of right there when we're cracking. 1 and 2 on the right track. Look at how more than it is. If you're Sam Edmund looking to Sam Chapman. I tell you what, I appreciate that he stuck around. He hasn't left the broadcast, but you can't take your eyes off this, Daniel.
I tell you what, if Chapo gets to the end here without stopping, he's going to be kicking himself that he made that mistake. Because without that mistake, he'd be 15 seconds up the road right now, and well in charge of the race. But instead, he's got his championship rival, who's already stopped and doesn't have to save fuel, a second behind him with a lap and a bit to go.
Yeah, and the pace has gone out of the racetrack because the rain's got heavier. So where we were in the high 149s from the outset, we're now comfortably in the 151s and 152s. 1 lap at the line. The white flag will be in the air. We go sprint racing here in the Porsches a little bit later on, folks. We can barely wait for that. But right now, game-changing, season-defining moments over the final 4 kilometres from Circuit Zolder in Belgium. Let's go one more time around. With 40 seconds on the clock, Chapo gets us to the white flag. Down to turn 1. He's going for it. It's either win it or bin it. Hero or zero for Sam Chapman. And even if it's second, it's good enough to stay in the fight. Look at Muir trying to set this one up. The margin coming into this round was 4 points. It's tighter in the Porsche Cup. It's 2 points covering first and second there. It could be all the difference. Chapo leads by 4 points. I need to reiterate that. Muir, the onus is on him to try and make a move here, but is it worth the risk? Is it worth the reward, given how treacherous it's been tonight?
He's only really got 2 more spots, really, unless he can really have a dive into the chicane. I don't think he'll be close enough, so it's going to be either into the tight right-hander or into the last chicane, as Muir slightly defensive and all over the curb.
But what if Chapo coughs and splutters? That will work beautifully for Muir.
He's lost time.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks as though Chapo's running the gauntlet, and he's going to be okay to get this to the checkered flag.
Muir just had a massive slide through the apex of the right-hand sweeper.
Whoa.
It's cost him so much time. He's more than a second back. Unless Sam Chapman doesn't have enough fuel and can get it stopped at the last chicane here, he's actually won the race. I don't know how, considering where he was.
Well, that's exactly
even at the end of lap 1.
Has only won on sprint night so far this season in GT4. That might be about to change. Last turn, checkered flag. Chapo is weaving. Chapo is home. Oh, what about that from Sam Chapman? Tried to throw it down the road and still found a way to victory lane. Chapo wins round 8 as it tips down cats and dogs in Belgium. And look at Bondi trying to fight for 8th at the moment. Atkinson's going to come through in 3rd. Christensen 4th. Court 5th. Dodson 6th. Lavis a disappointing 7th, what might have been for Adam in the end. Mitch Wood, Craig Bond, Michael Adams. 8, 9 and 10. And again, that's a case of what might have been for Adams. And Timmy Ward's going to finish as the last of the runners on the league lap in 11th. Dale Sharp a lap down. Rodney Gollan has managed to get through, only a lap down in the end as well. He will be the last of the finishers coming round in just a few moments' time. Paul Wood 14th, the first of a long list of retirements. And Dodson showing us the off-track alert, but it's all right because he'd already got past the start-finish strike. What about that? A season-defining moment as Chapo upstages everybody 0 stops all the way. He threw it wide at turn 1. He put it in the wall midway through the race, and he still held off Sam Muir by 0.91 of a second. But Muir got the fastest lap of the race. We know that Chapo won't be able to get a clean race bonus. Muir may still be able to. We know that Chapo got pole position. It's still going to be a single point margin going into the final 2 rounds of the season. What about that?
As you said, Zach, we don't know the instant point situation, so they still won't come out pretty much net even in terms of the points actually scored. As we go to the race results, Chapman somehow hangs on by 9/10 over Muir. 9/10. We were thinking it was going to be half of that come the end, but a mistake from Muir, a big slide coming through the right-hand sweeper, meant that it's 9/10 at the line. Atkinson third, Christensen fourth, caught fifth. Dodson came from 18th to finish 6th. And something's happened to Adam Lavis. He's down in 7th. Mitchwood 8th. Bondi in 9th. And Michael Adams still recovered to somehow finish in 10th.
Porsche 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 10. 2 Bimmers, 2 Mercs in there as well. And well done to Alex Court, best placed non-Porsche in the field. And well done to Adam Lavis. I mean, that's disappointing for Lavis because it was going well up until the pit stop. I think he's made a mistake after the pit stop, quite frankly, because David Christensen went into the pit lane in behind him and has come out and finished 30 seconds up the road from Adam Lavis. So I'm not terribly sure what's going on there. In the end, Rodney Golan finished 2 laps down. So apologies for that. I called that wrong. Rod actually didn't get to the white flag before Chapo took the checker. We missed that in amidst all the confusion and the kerfuffle of what was going on. But Golan finishes 2 laps down, at least still gets classified. That's a long list of retirements headed by Paul Wood, Ash Stacey, Eduardo Zamora, Luke Turner, Kurt Nommensen and Robert McGrath. That's what happened to Adam Lavis on the run home. That was very costly for him. So, a night in which the puddles continued to form and they only become bigger and more treacherous in size throughout the course and presence throughout the course of the evening. And it's a battle. There's another one. So it's 2 spins on the way home for Adam Lavis. And it's still a night in which Sam Chapman has found his way to the top of the summit. We'll hear from him in just a few moments, I'm sure. He won't be able to contain himself. He'll be able to come in here and shout it from the rooftops. So we were aware of Rod Golan's internet packet loss dropout situation. It's a nice recovery, mate, to get back out there on a night where so many came undone, including Chapo at turn 1. Have a look at that. At least he wasn't Eduardo Zamora or Craig Bond. Have a look at those 2 pirouetting into the actual gravel and grass, respectively. And, of course, Robert McGrath was not surprising at all, considering that he started on slicks. Kurt Nommensen, sorry, come back to you. Good luck with work tomorrow. Hopefully they put you on light duties, mate. Secondly, Monday night is GT3. We're very excited about what's coming up there for everybody playing along at home. We're off to Sebring. Geez, that might be a rib tickler. And secondly, what are your thoughts on the next GT4 round, mate, as we go to Donington Park?
Yeah, Donington looks like fun. Not sure if I'll run it yet. I haven't done enough races to really be in contention for anywhere in the championship, so we'll see how we go next week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Sebring. I love Sebring, probably one of my favorite tracks. So hopefully the Mustang treats me nice around there and I don't have too many issues like I had here tonight.
Well, this is true. Although that being said, Donington Park seems, well, I was going to say earlier in the call, we were talking about how Spa is the Belgian venue synonymous with big torrential downpours like this. Great Britain's probably more synonymous for rain. Are you expecting another wet one next week? If you do turn up for Donington? Bang! That was a big hit for you as well, by the way. That was 1 of 2.
Yeah, well, if I see rain at Donington, we'll see how we go, but nah, I'm lucky in that first hit that I didn't do any steering damage. It just did front bumper and rear bumper damage, so I got pretty lucky at the start of the race, but yeah, put it in the fence later and decided that was the end of my night.
Right, mate, very nicely done. Go well. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Disappointing for you that it ended the way that it did, but probably a more enjoyable seat here in the commentary box because that did not look like fun.
Yeah, I probably had a bit more fun watching everyone else put it in the fence than me putting it in the fence the second time.
Very nicely done, mate. Thank you. Well done. See you Monday.
We'll see you Monday.
Indeed. Don't forget too, folks, Pro-Am Split live and free Monday night for Waste Options GT3 on the back of the LMP2 Challenge. Bondi, well done. Perseverance. I mean, there were a couple of moments there where I thought, hang on, what's going to happen here? You were in the grass on lap 1, you fought back well, and just by surviving, you managed to finish where you start. One of only 2 people in the field outside of the front row, of course, to be able to do that. There was a lot of chopping and changing right throughout the course of the night, and Mitch Wood kept you honest along the way. Are you happy with that?
Only what it could have been if I didn't spin lap 1 and turn 1.
Yeah, exactly right. Well,
Another fun race.
It's always about the yes, buts and maybes, isn't it? It did look like fun, but is that the first proper run in the rain you've had?
No, I did the Porsche Cup GT. Yeah, Porsche Cups.
At Brands.
Brent Hatch.
Yeah. So you're familiar with the rain, but that looked particularly hairy because it looked as though the rain got worse as the race went on.
I think it did get worse, kinda, and then it got better, and then it got worse again. I feel like I could have went for a silly dive on the final up and got 8th, but then I lost time in the second chicane by losing the rear, and then it just never felt great again. So.
In saying that, must have been nice to go wheel to wheel with a few of the guys out there.
It was actually a really good battle I had with a couple of them, using a few of my real life tricks to get by, and then yeah.
You're lining up in the Porsche at the same venue, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
All right, you get
practice.
Yeah, you go and do that. We'll check back in at the end. But before you go, tell me about next week, because I'm going to ask you about this weekend's karting exploits at the end of the night. But tell me about next week and what your initial thoughts are on Donington Park.
Donington, I'm pretty sure I bought that, so I did a bit of wet practice there. Is that for GT4?
Yeah.
That should be fine. I'll get a bit of practice in through the week and then see where that takes me.
Indeed. All right, mate. And very nicely done. Battle of survival in the end, and you came up trumps. Sam Chapman, Sam Muir, Craig Bond, Dale Sharp, the only 4 drivers in the field to finish where they start. Or finish where they started, rather, to finish my sentence properly. Jez, I'm having a shocker tonight grammatically. And capitalising on the misfortune of those that retired around you. Well done, mate. Good luck with the Porsche. I think you're going to need it. Sprint racing around here will be hairy.
Yeah, thank you.
There he is, Craig Bond. Hey, well done, mate. That was very nice to watch. And we got to watch the battle with Mitch Wood all the way to the checkered flag. Mitch Wood joins us now as well. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. You'll just need to unmute yourself and put the push to talk on to have a chat to us here. And as you do, talk us through the Merc coming up through the field, up 6 spots, and the battle that you had with Bondi every step of the way there in the closing stages, because it looked like a real good challenge and a real good tussle.
Yeah, first time on a wet track really. Was a little bit different. Had a big moment coming into the start and sort of maybe nervous for the rest of the race, but yeah, towards the end of it, it started to feel pretty good, and yeah, that battle at the end was just made my night.
How difficult was it to keep it straight? How many times did you nearly come undone?
It was only about 5 or 6 times every single lap. It's different learning, different lines in the rain, and like looking for your shiny spots and looking for your wet spots. It's too much. It's a lot.
Well, he says 5 to 6 times a lap, ladies and gentlemen. So let's put that into context. It was a 22-lap race, so he's talking anywhere between 110 and 132 times throughout the course of the race. So in hindsight, to keep it straight, mate, and bring it home to the checkered flag, that's a big box ticked. I mean, you mentioned that it's the first time you've really had a crack in the rain. Why is that? Is it an infancy in terms of your association with iRacing, or is it that you've just been lucky with the Tempest weather system not delivering wet weather races for you?
No, just a straight up coward.
Oh, Well, 10 points for honesty. I mean, as we said earlier, and there's a couple of points that we need to discuss here, and we'll do so with Sam Chapman in a moment. We did hear from Paul Wood earlier, who was not happy about the rain, and rain's in the same, kettle of fish at the moment as ovals are concerned for Woodsy. We're not going to see him again when there's an oval race, and we probably won't see him anymore when the rain's on, quite frankly, given he's just staying for that at the moment. So what finally convinced you to go out and actually have a crack at it, put the big boy pants on, as they say?
Joining this group, really, instead of cruising around on the online lobbies and get wrecked every weekend. Me and my friend Ashley Dodgson decided to reach out and find a league.
Yep.
I didn't know we were joining a league of the fastest races in Australia, but it's something to stick to, and it's sort of a car to stick to and learn and develop, and we can focus on that Thursday night or whenever the races are, instead of just jumping on when you got 5 minutes. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Well, it's great to have you guys on board, I must say. Ash has been here for a few weeks now. It's nice to see you on board as well. And long may that association with us continue. I mean, you talk about us having some of the fastest sim races in the country here. Yes, we should be known as the Fast Gentleman Sim Racing Club, most likely, because the gentleman is by name only. Once the gloves go off and the racing starts, yes, there's some gentlemanly exploits on the circuit, but there's nothing leisurely about the pace set at the front of the field. Hey, what are your thoughts on Donington Park next week, and what other races are you going to have a crack at outside of GT4, mate? Because there's a few on offer here in this club.
Yeah, look, there's a few on offer. We're just sort of taking it easy and sticking with the GT4 for a while. I want to really step up to GT3 sooner or later.
Yep.
But bring on Laguna Seca.
Laguna?
My favourite.
So that's you putting your hat into the ring with a track suggestion for next term.
Yep, 100%. Line that up, and we'll see how we go.
All right. Bribery is accepted. So go and have a chat to the committee. They'll happily take it under the table payment for Laguna, I'm sure. Yes. Yeah.
We just got weights into Chapman's car.
Yes. Josh, I don't think Woodsy needs any more fuel on the fire at the moment, quite frankly. Laguna. Very good. I like it. Nice little play on words there. Although, that being said, Lagoon, I see where you're going. Very nice. Now, Mitch, well done, mate. Nice to catch up with you. Donington Park next week, and of course, then on the weekend, on the week after that, off to Watkins Glen. So we're getting closer to Laguna once we get to week 10, but we're on the East Coast, not the West Coast. Go well.
Unreal. Thanks a lot, guys.
Michael Adams just apologising for bumping into a few people throughout the course of the night. Hey, they were friendly taps, friendly nudges, a little bit of SMSing. G'day, how you going? There was nothing sinister in that. It wasn't a deliberate punt or shove or whatever the case may be. Well done. Sam Chapman is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt ready to toot the horn, and rightly so, because Chapo, for the first time this season, we put 40 minutes on the clock and you bring the chockies home, but not without trying to throw it away once or twice. What an effort from you.
Yeah, I really did try and throw it away, didn't I? My God, it was that was hard work to catch up to my errors, but very happy to be able to hold on to it. It was tight, but I knew that if I was sort of within it was more than about 30 seconds ahead, I could be in strife, but if I could keep it within that mark, I should come out ahead. So I had a bit of fuel left in the bank, and was able to get away with it with a bit of a damaged car, but the damage doesn't make as much difference around there when it's wet.
How much fuel was left in the tank across the line, please?
I don't know, a few hundred mils. I don't know. The amount of piss someone has when they've been in a desert for 15 days, I reckon. So it's not much at all. But I had a fair bit in the tank just from early on, because I was just after that. Brain fart on the first corner. I got stuck behind the battles and that sort of thing, so wasn't able to get through those and also save at the same time, so just sort of sat behind for a while.
Now, just a point as well. I'm just getting a message in here from our commentary colleague and broadcast colleague Josh Zuno. I've only just seen this, by the way, that he's called only the top 3 in for interviews post-race, but thankfully a couple of others have shown up. No Sam Muir, no Jack Atkinson, but at least the race winner is in the house. We'll probably hear from Sam Muir after the Porsches, I'm sure. In saying that, Chapo, must have been nice to get that one. I mean, you might have been taking the mickey a little bit with the fuel save because you were the only person in the field to pull it off. But it's huge. It's a huge, power play in terms of this championship fight. You had a marginal lead coming round into tonight. There's a chance that you've only just hung on to it as well. We don't know what Muir's got in terms of bonuses with regards to fastest start of the race and the 0x. So he does get a couple of bonus points there that you don't get, but you did get pole.
I did. So I actually reckon I think we'll go out on the same points from that round, actually, because he got the 0x. So it will stay even at about 4 points, I reckon. And it was taking the proverbial a bit. I almost felt a bit bad because it just was such a messy race on my behalf. So to come home with the victory was a bit wild when he was able to, just keep pulling time on those guys ahead of me. So very happy. Was damage limitation, if anything else, to hold on to it. So, the fight is alive and well going into the final rounds.
Indeed it is. I was going to say, gentlemen, I'm a little bit disappointed, I must say. Tonight's the first Thursday night of the year on the platforms of the GSRC where I don't have home and away to look forward to post-broadcast. The season finale was last night. However, do yourself a favour, folks. Go to their YouTube page, the 7 Network's YouTube page, and check out the promo for next year because that is top shelf material from the 7 Network, I will say. Now, going around the grounds very quickly before I come back to you, Chapo, before we go.
Drop off, mate, because I've got to do some qualifying now.
Okay. Well, before you do, you're going to Zolder. What are your thoughts on how the Porsche might go there, please, in the GT3 spec?
Oh, there's going to be some flying Porsches over the over that chicane there, and how you land that will be very, very important for your race and for your qualifying. So, I would imagine we'll see a little bit of carnage there. Qualifying will be important because I do not see a full field getting through that the first time around.
No, neither do I. And of course we do it twice because there's sprint racing tonight in the Porsche Cup. So it's going to be hectic and it's going to be hairy. We're looking forward to it. We might talk more about GT4 and what it means going into the final 2 rounds of the championship after the Porsches, mate.
All right, good stuff, mate.
All right, there he goes. Well done. Thank you, Chapo. Go and qualify. You need it because we're only 13 minutes away from race start for the Porsche Cup. Daniel Benefield, I've still got you here. Yes, Josh Zuno's target number 1 for Paul Wood to line up after a wet weather race tonight. That was treacherous. It was diabolical in parts. We're probably glad that we're in the commentary box, not at the venue itself. But the cream rose to the top, as they so often do in this championship, as they have done all season, wet or dry. It's been Chapman and Muir, and that was again the case tonight. The difference was Chapman's art of fuel saving. He proved that again. Game on for the final 2 rounds of the season, and I don't think Chapo will want to ride his luck by making too many mistakes over the next couple of weeks because we know that you only get so lucky so often, and he certainly got lucky with the 2 mistakes he made tonight.
Yeah, amazing really that he made 2 pretty major mistakes. I mean, the first one wasn't so much the time loss, it was the track position loss, and we discussed throughout the race how hard it was to make an overtake around here, particularly in the wet. And then the second one, nosing the car into the wall, and we saw how much damage there was on the front of that car, and to still come home with the win somehow is quite staggering, to be honest. But we know Chapo likes to fuel save, and we said it. We called it pretty early. Pretty sure we called it lap 1 or 2 that it looked like he was fuel saving to try and no stop it, and in the end he still wins. So even without, maybe not so much the turn 1 mistake, but even without nosing the car into the wall on the outside of turn 3, I reckon that's a good 15-second win for Chapo.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, the other thing as well, Michael Adams, hero to zero sort of drive for him. That was, I mean, he chipped away at Adam Lavis lap after lap, and we didn't get to finish the point because no sooner were we looking at the replay than we're looking at live pictures of him throwing it into the wall. The way he set that up and executed that overtaking manoeuvre, the racecraft, the gamesmanship, the just the overall skill set required to lure Adam Lavis into that false trap and then put one on him on the inside, that switchback in a straight line, if you like, that he did there. That was 10 out of 10 from him to realise that he had to go about it a little bit differently because what he had been doing hadn't worked. No sooner does he get to the front, he gets that clear air, he gets the excitement levels up, he makes a mistake and it's game over. That's racing sometimes. No harm, no foul, however, because obviously Adam Lavis tripped up later in the piece as well. But that was probably for mine the move of the night, the way in which Michael Adams put that one on Adam Lavis. And I say that because I've seen it so many times in real world racing, XLs, karting. I even famously managed to, pull off a couple of those manoeuvres myself. You go one way, you think that, the guy in front of you knows exactly what you're going to do, and then you trip him up. You throw a spanner in the works. So that zigzag stuff was really good to watch, and it was a good battle while it lasted. We're going to a break on the platforms, the GSRC across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. This is Thursday Night Motorsport for week 8 of term 4. Remembering that we've got a little bit of overtime coming up in the next couple of weeks, some extra broadcasts coming your way. We'll tell you more about all of that towards the back end of the night, but on the other side of the break, it's round 8 of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup, and we're looking forward to that immensely from Circuit Zolder. They're in the thick of qualifying at the moment. Live pictures coming your way in just a few moments. We'll come back at about the 10-minute mark of the session to update you on championship standings, etc. and so forth. And we're here, of course, with thanks to Spreyton Cider, Waste Options, Orbit Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. And quickly around the grounds, the WBBL underway at the moment. The Renegades up against the Hurricanes. The Renegades 5 for 141, 18.4 overs gone, and the Hurricanes to chase whatever is set. Earlier today, the Perth Scorchers and Sydney Sixers played out a draw. They were locked at 126 apiece after regular 20 overs had elapsed, had expired. They went and played a super over and got 15 runs each. They called it a tie. Extraordinary stuff. Those two teams could not be separated today. Thursday night cricket underway. So too Thursday night motorsport. The ladder continues on the other side of this. We're lining up on the grid, ladies and gentlemen, for League 2 of our Thursday night Motorsport doubleheader on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. This is round 8, race 1 of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup for you. A little bit tight for time off the top tonight because the cars are already lining up on the grid over there. Corey Lazarus and Samuel the front row. So those two are going to go at it again here. Adam Hayne, Rain Campbell, second row. Adam Jepson, Simon Mesimo, third row. One hoping to get it a little bit of a better run than last week at least. Eli Donaldson, Samuel Sproul, fourth row. Mark Gomez and Sam Chapman, fifth row. Sixth row for Dane Snadden and Vinny Ewan. Seventh row for Chuk Fung Wong and Shannon Fever. Eighth row Nick Wood, and also the returning Jack Rogers. Good to see him back on the grid. Dean Hunt, Patrick Klein, Glenn Arnott and Tristan Koch make up the top 20. Row 11, Adam Lavis, Russell Gander, 12, David Christensen, Liam Miles, 13, Eduardo Zamora, Craig Schultz, 14, Paul Wilson and John Akers. 15th row, Barry Punter and Greg Heaney. 16th row is Joe Baldwin, Jonathan Hooper. 17th, Paul Wood and Nicholas Wilcoxon. Good to see him on the grid. Sean Rees and Craig Bond from 18. Dale Atkins and Bobby Camo from 19. And we have no Luke Swan or Lachlan Shinkfield. So they've both opted to park up and not play any further part in the night. 1 minute and 20 of the formation period has already been gone, come and went, ladies and gentlemen. Field almost backed up around the final corner here at Circuit Park Zolder. We'll just have a quick look at the circuit conditions here and let you know that the circuit itself doesn't change. The exception of that change to the chicane and the sweeper at the final corner. There it is on your screen now. 3.93 kilometres this length, 12:03 in the afternoon, 3 km/h winds in a mostly southerly direction, 19 degrees the ambient, 19 on track overcast conditions and 63% humidity. Ready to fire. We'll go to the championship points if time permits during this race at any point. Let's go to work. Vitally important round of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup. And it is a great start off the inside from Corey Lazarus. Have a look at them fanning out 3 and 4 wide already on the run out towards turn 1. Now watch it through here because this can get very tight and very ugly very quickly if somebody trips up. So far so good. Cleanly. How about that? Well done to all concerned. To turn 2. Craig Schultz down the order a little bit, down in 25th at the moment, so there is some chopping and changing, some slicing and dicing happening earlier on, and Rain Campbell down the inside of Adam Hayne. The first move at the front. The first shot's fired. Have a look at them trying to warm the tyres up, weaving from left to right. Lazarus leads us to the hairpin. Vinny Ewan's come undone. Vinny Ewan's dropping down the order like a sack of spuds at the moment. We had no Liam Miles on this grid either, so just the 37 starters, but still an impressive grid, Daniel Betterfield.
It is indeed. Some moves on lap 1. Campbell up to third ahead of Hayne, and Mizomo getting past Jepson as well up to fifth. I think both of those moves were in turn 3. And now we go single file a bit as Muir starting to come under pressure from Campbell, as Lazarus is already up to 1.6 second lead.
Keep your eyes peeled on Rain Campbell and Sam Muir, folks. Rain 285, Sam 283, Simon Mesimo 275. 10 points covers the top 3 in this championship at the moment. Mesimo back in 5th as we complete the opening lap in Belgium. Down the main straight, 245 for Mark Gomez, 239 for Corey Lazarus on a charge, making up the top 5. Lazarus right in the thick of the championship contention here, and down the inside. Have a look at that. Rain Campbell trying to pull the early trigger and go for the move on. Sam Muir wasn't able to get it done. Muir shuts the door. Lazarus has bolted 2.1 seconds up the road already with the fastest lap of the race, unsurprisingly. 1:31.497, which is a blinder off a standing start. The open split standings coming into tonight. 263 for Eduardo Zamora, 241 for Paul Wilson, so it's tight there as well. 225 Stephen Gallacher, 223 Russell Gander, and 219 for Dean Hunt, with Dale Atkins on 215 and Greg Heaney 213 and Craig Schultz 212. So that's that 13 points covering 5 or 6 positions for the minor placings in the open split at the moment. Everywhere you look, there's a battle worth keeping an eye on, both as far as the race is concerned and the championship is concerned. And there is Samuel Sproul. Nice to see him back on the grid. In trouble. Got tripped up, and that has set off a chain reaction.
So he just went a bit wide through on the exit of the chicane, and as a result, it got the rear of the car loose and straight into the side of Eli Donaldson, I think it was, in the Twitchy Foot car. And then I think it was Chuk Fung Wong that collected the Black Hat OPR car on the way through as well, as it's on for second again.
Yep, and Sproul has dropped to the tow rope to the back of the order. Vinny Ewan also on the tow rope. Sean Rees parked up and done, and look at that! Around the outside, Ryan Campbell couldn't pull it off. And now under pressure from Adam Hayne. Now trying to get back down on the inside of Muir, who slams the door shut.
Just a bit too deep for Campbell. He tried to go around the outside and probably would have done it, had the job done, at least into turn 2. But just a bit too deep on the brakes. But Muir had a good enough exit to be able to cover him coming out of turn 1 and into turn 2. And it's brought Hayne and Mizomo into this battle as well.
We look forward to seeing Mr. Ellis on the grid tomorrow night at the Radicals. But in the meantime, there he is commenting tonight. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. Corey has checked out. It's the observation. 3 seconds to the good at the moment. This battle for second. You can hardly take your eyes off it, though. Lazarus is putting one toe, 1 foot in the championship fight here. And he's only 46 points away. Which if he comes through with the goods in the remaining, what have we got, 2 this week, 1 next week, 6 races in the campaign. And next week's worth a few extra points too, because it is the Enduro format, 60 minutes from the Saxon Ring. And it could well be a 3-horse race, a 4-horse fight for that final round when we get to Phillip Island for sprint racing. Off goes Glenn Arden. In the meantime, we go back to the leaders. We're with Simon Mesamo at the moment. Daniel Benefield's teammate, riding with him in 5th, but he's a stone's throw away from 2nd. That's how bunched up this pack at the front is.
So, going back to the championship, Corey Lazarus is doing all he can do for the championship. He pretty much needs to be perfect to have half a chance at this championship, never mind a full one. But these 4 cars, no, it is 4. I thought Jepson must have made a mistake because he's dropped back a bit as we ride on board with Mizomo. Looking at the 3 cars in front of him, this battle is championship defining, as it always is, week in, week out in Porsche Cup. You've got 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, currently 2nd, 3rd and 5th in this battle.
Well, as soon as we get a chance to take breath, we will have a look at that incident from earlier on that tripped up Samuel Sproul. In the meantime, all it was a little bit of grass on, tyre on grass at that particular point of the racetrack. And that tripped him up, and Porsches don't drift all that well. But unfortunately, when it's that early in the piece and you've got everybody bunched up around you, it's a recipe for disaster. Thankfully, not too many drivers, cars, have a look at this. Simon Mesamo were impeded by that, but still it was enough to be a defining moment of the race so far. Vinny Nguyen reporting that he had VR issues, so that's why he's off at the moment, back on the grid for the feature, and Mesamo gets the job done to go to 4th on Adam Hayne, so that's a good move. But the cost of that is that they have lost touch with both Sam Muir and Ryan Campbell.
It does. The mistake from Hayne set up Mizomo to go around the outside of the right-hander, and the traction off the exit meant he had to run into the quick left-right flick. Now that is the alternate chicane, really, and as a result, Hayne unable to fight for 4th, at least for the end of that lap 4. We'll see if he can come back at him for the rest of this race. But now it's let Campbell and Muir have their own little battle, really, for P2.
Through we go. And to be fair, I mean, as far as the championship's concerned, these two have only got to worry about each other this week. They will have to start worrying about Corey Lazarus in the weeks to come, though. Because every point counts for Lazarus from this point on. These two have got a couple of drop rounds to fall back upon, but you won't want to be resting on those over the next couple of weeks, because the next 2 rounds are worth more. Enduro points on the line next week.
Oh,
and there we go. Campbell's gone in the gravel and gone.
I thought that might
Just as I was about to make the point, Daniel Benefield, that they needed to watch their P's and Q's here. They needed to just roll through the motions and get the points and move on. And have a look at this. Hayne has got back by Mesamo as well. Oh, it's all happening in Belgium. How about that? Hayne up to 3rd.
Campbell got a bit on the grass on the way in. I thought he might have got a bit wide. I thought he held it at first, and then the rear of the car just went, and as a result, it's dropped him down to... It's only dropped them to 6th, really. He's lucky that he didn't lose even more time. At the same time, I think Mizomo might have got a slowdown or something through the chicane, either avoiding rain or something, because he essentially just let Adam Hayne pass. Or that, or he was spooked and had a slow run through the chicane as a result of Campbell going around, and Hayne took advantage of it.
Oh boy, how good's this been? It's on in earnest. It's hot, it's intense, and it's hard to take your eyes off, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lazarus and Muir at the front. They've both got breathing space on their nearest opponents. This is what happened to Ryan Campbell.
Yep, just
grass
too
going
wide
into the corner.
Too wide on the entry, and it spun him around. I think, yeah,
Wow,
I think
save.
I think lucky that there wasn't a car to collect him on the way through, to be honest. Mazomo kind of spooked by Campbell spinning, meant he got a slow run through the chicane, and as a result, and we're going to see it on board here. So there goes Campbell in front. Yeah, Mez ended up all in a mess through the middle of the left-right flick. Yeah. And as a result, Adam Hayne has gone right around the outside of him into turn 1.
Let's have a look at the glass half empty, glass half full aspects of that as well. But like in this particular instance for Simon Mesmo, caution was probably the best approach when you think about the championship fight. We were just making the point about Sam Muir and Ryan Campbell needing to stay where they were and avoid trouble and tick the box, get the points, and then focus on the invert, which I think is going to be hugely challenging around here given the lack of, easy potential overtaking opportunities that present themselves. Every overtaking opportunity around here is not straightforward. There are some that will require an element of risk to be taken, but that's the joys of it. That's going to test the skill set, the racecraft of these guys. So for Simon Mesmo, he won't worry too much about losing a position to Adam Hayne, because it's a lot better than getting cleaned up by Ryan Campbell spinning and being out of business and having a 0 next to your name for this one. So when you look at the overall fight, all our protagonists, well, one's avoided trouble so far. His name is Sam Muir. The other two have had a little bit of a trip up. Mesmo taking evasive action has lost out to Hayne. Campbell's dropped down to 6th, but they're still all in the top 10. They're still factoring in the mix. And Corey Lazarus is just eating this up and saying, keep at it, boys.
And getting good points still in the top 10. You mentioned about the reverse grid race 2, or reverse top 10, I should say. The fact we're running the alternate layout, not only does it take an overtaking opportunity out be in the last chicane, but it also makes the move into turn 1 a lot harder to make as well, a lot faster over a chicane. So I feel like to gain positions in race 2, it's going to be a lot more about the strategy rather than on-track overtakes.
Now, a bit of breaking news from pit lane. We know that Vinnie Nguyen's going to come back for race 2. We're not sure about Sean Rees because he's already parked up and done. And so too is Sam Sproul. So that's disappointing for Sproul. It was nice to see him back on the grid, albeit far too briefly. As far as movers and shakers are concerned, not sure what happened to Jack Adams. He had to come to pit lane after lap 1. Was he implemented in that incident? I'm not sure. Jack Rogers down 17 spots, sitting 33rd at the moment. Ryan Campbell to the inside to go back to P5. Gets by the very white car of Adam Jepson. And Sam Chapman is the next down the road in 7th ahead of Shannon Fever, Mark Gomez and Chuk Fang Wong. Movers and shakers, have a look at this. Have a look at these for some numbers. Joe Baldwin, Trucker Joe, El Presidente up 14 spots already in 17th. From 31st on the grid. We always said qualifying was his Achilles heel. And then David Christensen's just gifted him in the 15th spot because Christensen's off the road and trouble for him. And is it an internet issue, or is it... Oh, it looks like a very, very bizarre... No, there it is. There we go. Pointing the wrong way. And unfortunately, because of where he is and the oncoming traffic, he just has to sit there and wait. So now he's dropped all the way down to Jack Rogers territory, 33rd position. That's unfortunate.
That was a weird one.
That was a weird one. Craig Bond up 10 spots as well. 8 for Dale Atkins, 9 for Nicholas Wilcoxon, 12 for Jonathan Hooper. They're the big movers so far. Trucker leading the way with 15 gained. Wow, look at the air time there for Mark Gomez.
The thing is with these Porsches, you can do that with these, because they're rear-engined. When they land, they just land on the rear wheels and keep going. So it's actually not that bad to use the curve like that. But going back to David Christensen's, it was weird that it was as late as it was, because he would have been pretty much fully on the throttle by the time that happened. So a bit of a weird spin for the Aussie E-Racers car there. as Mark Gomez. Mark Gomez, we haven't seen him as much in recent weeks across GT3 and Porsche Cup, as Bondi with a big send and locks up the rears as a result and sends himself around.
He's actually sitting here on muted commentary position at the moment, so he'll have known that was coming. That's unfortunate for him. He was up 10 spots at that point and now is only up 3 spots in 33rd. Still well clear of Bobby Camo. 34 still running in the 37 that started. Have a look at the speed they take through that final chicane now. That is just literally a flick left and a flick back right. There's a little bit of brake applied to the first of those and then full tilt through that right-hander back onto the main straight. We go to Paul Wood in 22nd now, and he's chasing Jono Akers. Akers in 21st, up 7 spots. Wood trying to go up 12, but Akers not making that task very easy. Oh, hang on. Wood around the outside, still hanging tough. There was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there, I'm pretty sure. Akers holds on for the moment. Leader of the open split, by the way, Glenn Arnold up 7 spots. Patrick Klein second, up 5 spots. And Christian Koch now up in third place in that split. So it's saying up 1 spot on my totem pole here, but when we flip back to outright, I think that'll change again in the positive direction there. And yes, it does, up 5 spots. I like how that happens. And just like that, boys, we're at the last lap. Geez, where the hell did that come from? Adam Hayne off the road. Adam Hayne off the road. Adam Hayne's off the road, coming onto the main straight. And
He's buried in the wall.
He's clouded the wall. Hayne will get back on the road, but he's dropped down to 10th. Glass half empty, invert pole. Glass half full, it's a case of what might have been. He's let a very good result go begging here.
I was about to say he was catching at Sam Muir, and he's pushed just that bit too hard on the left and sent the car straight. Sent the car straight left.
Now, if you're Dane Snadden, you're hoping that there's a bit of damage there to Adam Hayne, because Snadden's 11th at the moment, and he's 3.4 away. If there's insustainable damage for Adam Hayne, Dane Snadden could be the beneficiary. We'll wait and see. But what about this guy? Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. Geez, that went quickly. We were talking about the pluses and minuses of the night, and Eli Donaldson. Oh, there's a car off the road. That's Christian Koch. That's Christian Koch. 3rd place in the open split, and it's gone up in smoke on the final lap on the run to the checkered flag. Corey Lazarus is 2 corners from home. Corey Lazarus has been in dominant form ever since he returned to the Spreyton side of Porsche Cup of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and that dominant run continues. Race 1 goes to the Blackout OPR entry. Formidable. Have a look at the winning margin. Nearly 8.5 seconds. In fact, it will be 8.49. Simon Mezzolo in for 3rd, benefiting from the exit stage left of Adam Hayne. Ryan Campbell up back to 4th, and that's a get out of jail free card for him. The 3 championship combatants finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th. They will start 7th, 8th and 9th on the grid for the invert. Adam Jepson 5th, Sam Chapman up 4 spots to 6th. Shannon Fever, Mark Gomez, Chuk Fung Wong, Adam Hayne. Then Dane Snadden, Granada. Oh, trouble. Last corner. Eli Donaldson, exit stage left. Not dissimilar to Haynes' exit. And Dale Atkins went up off the road as well. Drama on the run to the checkered flag. Oh, big one. Here we go. Oh, wowee. Trucker has been caught up in a monster. I think.
Dean Hunt and Joe Bull. And there's another car off as well. There's another car.
David Christensen. So Eli Donaldson on the on the rejoin. Oh dear. Bang. Whooshka. Oh. Can you believe that? And Christensen's going to come through and collect his teammate, I reckon you'll find. We need to have a look at that.
That's his own. He had his own spin.
It's almost as though someone's poured oil down and he slipped on it.
I'll tell you what, how lucky was Paul Wilson to make it through that as well in that Red Port car.
Eli Donaldson's going to get 10 seconds, but really, to be fair, it should be a lot more than that. It says avoidable contact, but look at the chain reaction it set off. That is unfortunate for all and sundry. We'll have a look at those results for you and what it means now. So Adam Hayne, 10th. No harm, no foul. He gets the invert pole despite being 3rd earlier in the piece. Dane Snadden 11th, Glenn Arnott, the winner of the open split ahead of Patrick Klein, and now Craig Schultz benefiting from Tristan Koch's exit. Adam Lavis came through ahead of Eduardo Zamora, Jono Hooper, Jono Akers, Nick Wood and Paul Wood, the top 20 over the page, because we need to see what else transpired there, because Joe Baldwin at one point was up 15 spots. He ends up limping across the line. Where is Trucker? I'm just having a look for
34th.
him down there. 34th. Wow. And a minute 49. So there's been some penalties, obviously, applied there late in the pieces. They've limped across the line. Dean Hunt drops to 33rd. Bobby Komodo 32nd. Eli Donaldson to 31st, and another 10 seconds on top of that. So he will go down behind Bobby Komodo now. Bondi comes through to 30th, so he gains 3 positions on the final lap. But Russell Gander was 21st, Will Coxon, Wilson, Rogers. That's actually not too bad for Jack in the end. He gained a few spots because of the late attrition. Atkins, Punter, Kosh, Heaney. That was costly for Kosh. Heaney, Christensen, Bond, Donaldson, Camo, and Hunt. Baldwin there, the last of the finishers in 34th, and Eli Donaldson has now been hit with a 10-point penalty as well. So it's a 10-second and a 10-point for Eli Donaldson for the unsafe rejoin, and the contact with 1:47.09 on lap 11. Bring on the reverse grid is the comment of the master, the Dench Mark, Matty Dench, is tuning in tonight. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. Enjoying watching the carnage unfold, not being part of it for a change. Wow. Catch your breath, boys, because you've got about 8 seconds to do it, and then we line up and go again. Who should sit for the invert, Daniel, and why?
It's Adam Hayne will be on pole, and he had good pace in race 1, so I think Adam will be able to hold on. Some quick little news as well. The reason why we don't have a Luke Swan is because he's having internet dramas.
Copy. I knew you'd be onto that. He's one of your teammates. Let's have a look at the grid, folks. Let's have a look at the grid for the invert here at Zolder in Belgium, because the cars are about to line up now for this feature race at 3 o'clock local server time. 6 km/h winds in a northerly direction, 19 degrees the ambient, 19 on track, 58% humidity and overcast conditions. Adam Hayne and Chook Fung Wong the front row. Mark Gomez and Shannon Fever the second, Sam Chapman, Adam Jepson the third, Rain Campbell, Simon Mesmo the fourth, Sam Muir and Corey Lazarus from the 5th row of the grid. 6th row, Dane Snadden, Glenard at 7th row, Patrick Klein, Craig Schultz, 8th row, Adam Lavis, Eduardo Zamora, 9th row, Jonathan Hooper, Jono Akers, 10th row, Nick Wood, Paul Wood. 11th row, Russell Gander, Nicholas Wilcoxon, 12th row, Paul Wilson, Jack Rogers, 13th row, Dale Atkins, Barry Punter, 14th row, Tristan Kosh, Greg Heaney, 15th row, David Christensen and Craig Bond. 16th row, Eli Donaldson, Bobby Camo, 17th row, Dean Hunt, Joe Baldwin, and then those that may or may not join the server based on what we saw in race 1. Vinnie Newen has joined, nobody else. So Vinnie Newen from the outside of row 18, and that'll be it. Ready to fire again from Circuit Zolder in Belgium. The feature of round 8 of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup. Race 3 of the program for night 4 of week 8 of turn 4 of action on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Let's go to work. And there will be a few scores to settle here, because particularly for Joe Baldwin, he had a top 20 finish taken away from him at the very end of proceedings. Hip and shoulder already at turn 1. Clean start, however, for Chapman. Look at the blackout OPR entry, boys, side by side on the run to turn 2.
Campbell getting a bit sideways on the apex of turn 1 and it's dropped him behind all his championship rivals down to 9th. Actually, he's held on to Muir.
And Barry Punter joining from the rear of the grid as well from pit lane. Tristan Kosh off the road early. Stage right, there he is. In the gravel, rejoining way back. Simon Mesmo to the outside of Sam Chapman. Oh, Chapman into the side of Mesmo. And now down the inside of them will go Rain Campbell potentially. Yes! Campbell on the outside.
It's Lazarus.
And Lazarus. That's Lazarus, good point. Good pickup. It's Campbell in behind them, trying to find his way through. Good pickup, Corey Lazarus up 4 spots already. Sam Chapman on the converse, down 4.
Yeah, Chapo got straight trained there as Lazarus got defensive against Mazzomo, not going to be able to get it done. Will Campbell would stick the nose in? No, he won't. Going through the left-hander as we come to the end of lap 1. But Chapo absolutely freight trained on the outside of the chicane. They ended up dropping 3 positions in 1 corner.
There are some scores to settle here. Now, here's the other thing as well, boys. That last corner incident was a lot uglier because we were using the alternate configuration. There's no way they have that much speed up and arrive on scene as quickly as they do. It was a case of arriving blind. That's why it erupted and broke out as badly as it did. Oh, trouble. in the gravel at turn 1, Patrick Klein.
That was our open class leader, I'm pretty sure as well, was Patrick Klein. Here comes Campbell now, Mizomo. Gets
Head and
it.
shoulder.
Oh,
Mesmo still holding on. Yep.
he's got it done.
No. Jeez. Daniel
So-
Correa just getting a little bit excited for the sake of it, ladies and gentlemen. That's normally my role.
So the loser in all of this at the moment, in terms of the championship picture, is Sam Muir. He's still stuck behind Chapo down in 10th. Meanwhile, Mizomo and Campbell still 7th and 8th. They've just swapped how they started. Lazarus, though, already up to 6th and doing all he can to try and remain in this championship picture.
And the shocker of the night continues for Eli Donaldson, who's dropped back down to 27th as well. At Project 36, hopefully Jack Rogers can have a good fight back. So far, it's not too bad for him. Already up 7 spots to 17th. So Jack's on the charge early on. In the feature here, which will be 17 laps, ladies and gentlemen. We lost track of the lap count with that much action going on in the opening race. The last lap, the first time I even thought of it was when I saw the white on our totem pole in the lap column. Now, that's unfortunate for Adam Jepson. That's a slowdown if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, I think he actually got it at the left-hander earlier in the lap because he let Shannon Fever by as well. So you used to seeing a Trichy foot car that I automatically thought it was Eli Donaldson, but it's not. It's Shannon Fever up in 4th now. It's Campbell all over the back of the 9.5 car of Simon Mizomo.
All over the back of your teammate here. Can Mesmo hold on? So this is important too because, again, so Muir is in 10th. Muir, Campbell, Mesmo. They're the three we're watching. For the three title combatants that we have coming into this round, the three of them separated by 10 points, it is Mesmo leading Campbell, leading Muir. But for how long? Chapman down 4 places in 9th, and Corey Lazarus already up 5 spots. Half the job is done. Next target, Shannon Fever.
He's all
And
over.
it gets a little bit harder after that because Adam Haynes out to 1.84 second lead over Chuk Fung Wong, who's got Mark Gomez over in like a cheap suit. But what they've then got is 2.5 seconds of breathing space. Wide goes Fever. Here comes Lazarus to the outside.
This should be done. It is.
Fever
Yeah,
concedes.
lead him well before the corner, which meant he was entitled to the racing line through the corner, and Lazarus up to 4th now. He's only 5 seconds off the lead, and Mizomo not looking to waste any time on Fever either.
No, not yet.
No, not close enough. This is going to open up to Campbell now into 2.
Yep, and Mesmo shuts the gate accordingly. He goes defensive, ultra defensive on the inside.
Rush the run on the exit.
Yep, and that got closed as well. Whoa!
him.
Campbell's got it to the side of Mesmo! Job done!
Oh, and he's been hit by
Bang!
Jetson.
Here we go! 2 of the championship contenders have come together! In a vitally important round of championship, we knew Circuit Zolder could be a trip-up point because of the degree of difficulty here. And because everybody was on edge, we knew how costly overtaking manoeuvres would be. Ryan Campbell and Simon Mezzolo have been rubbed out of it.
All the way to the back. Mizomo not able to rejoin until the whole field has passed because he was stuck in the middle of the road, and Campbell trying to redress it. They're not going to score any points in this race. There's no way they get back to the top 25 from here.
Advantage Sam Muir, advantage Corey Lazarus, right here and now. Oh boy.
Here comes
Muir down the
Muir.
inside, finally gets by Chapman. Geez, those two have seen a fair bit of one another tonight, haven't they?
I have indeed. First GT4, now Porsche Cup, and Dane Snadden all over the back of Chapo now as well, going through the last left-right flick chicane. It's so quick. It's insane how quick these cars are going through there. Noticed a bit of damage to the back of Muir though. I'm not sure when that was from necessarily, whether it was an avoidance to the Simon Mizomo incident. But there's a massive indent on the back of the 1.9 car at the moment, as Fever's now back behind Jepson as well.
This is extraordinary, really. Let's have a look at the defining moments. So this was Ryan Campbell redressing on Simon Mezzamo. Paul Wood, Jonathan Hooper and Ryan Campbell all showing off track at the moment. So Rain's had another moment. Rain's on the tow rope. We need to have a look at why. He's redressed with Simon Mezzamo, but then has ended up on the tow rope. So there's the gift. There's the redress. That's sorted. That's done. What has happened then? Uh-oh. So there was the initial point of contact. So that was Mesmo spinning. Bang! Up the back end from Jetson.
I tell you what, they were lucky that it wasn't more contact.
Yeah, look at the evasive action from the teammate there as well.
Oh, there was contact. Okay, that must have been Donaldson. That explains why Donaldson dropped back.
Yep. Donaldson, Campbell, both on pit road at the moment. And now Greg Heaney off the road as well. Bang!
Nowhere to go.
Well,
completely blindsided. Completely blind. There's no way you expect... You know the yellow flag's there. He's lifted off and everything, but there's no way you expect a car right in the middle of the road like that. And that's ended Eli Donaldson's race.
Yep. Well, we're getting a comment there on screen from Project 36 about Mark Gomez being in 4th place, and that's fair in points. He is 40 back. He's got no drop rounds at his disposal. The other boys do. Does that mean that Muir and Mesmo, their drop rounds come into the equation tonight, as we've got, and Rain Campbell's had a netcode disaster, and I think we have as well. Are we good? Are we? Okay, so we're good to still talk, but we've got no vision, is what you're saying. Okay, copy that. So we're going to fly blind for a couple of minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. How about that? Now, just quickly... oh dear. At 9:30 p.m. The comment from Josh Zuno, SBS. Yes, it is a special broadcast service. This one, because we're flying blind. We're bringing you radio coverage on the platforms of the GSRC. Side by side, of course, means is also an SBS translation. But yes, as soon as I see SBS like that, my mind doesn't go to side by side, Josh. It goes straight to the TV channel, SBS, especially when it's in capitals. However, we were trying to go side by side for you. We've just had a crash, unfortunately. Bear with us. We'll do our best. I believe Zuno has a live feed, but Daniel doesn't at the moment. So if there's any ability to get that on screen, we will. However, that would mean we'd also have to rejig the timing screen at our end, because we're currently on Daniel's timing, not Josh's, but that's easy done. Disappointing point to have a breakdown and be able to fly blind here, folks. Just recapping the championship points, Daniel Benefeld coming into this round, because we were talking, the Twitchy Foot boys told us about, sorry, not the Twitchy Foot boys, the Project 36 boys were talking about Mark Gomez being only 40 points away. Yes, he is, but he's got no drop round points to fall back on, whereas Mesmo and Campbell both do, and I think they'll have to be implemented tonight after that.
Definitely will be. It's even if they do get back to point scoring position, so the top 25, it's going to be absolutely minuscule. In saying that, well, the thing we need to remember with Porsche Cup, obviously we had the elite and the open class, and the points for each class are done separately, so they probably are actually in the top 25, so they'll be able to secure some points, but they'll have a lot of positions to try and gain before they get to some of the elite cars.
All right, good news is I've had the timing screen refresh, so we won't be far off having pictures come back in from Circuit Zolder. There we go, right on cue. Adam Jepson off the road by the look of that as well. I think it might have been. So that's unfortunate, as we take you back to Bobby Camo sitting there in 22nd at the moment. I can report that Rain Campbell's still sitting on pit lane with those issues that he's had. Greg Heaney's coming to pit lane right now. Barry Punters. Barry Punters are locked down, and Eli Donaldson's parked up and done altogether, Daniel.
And Lazarus is pitted as well. So Lazarus is currently 23rd. He's about 7 tenths behind Bobby Camo. There he is. That blackout OPR car is Corey Lazarus, who has made his stop. He's the first of the stoppers, and I'm going to guess this move is going to be to try and undercut the cars in front, but he's going to have so much traffic to deal with.
Whoa, here we go. Lazarus through to 22nd. So that's the other point as well. So Gomez is in the same boat as Lazarus. Lazarus has no drop round points to fall back on, but what Lazarus has that Gomez didn't have in the first race is track position. That one stings is the message from Ryan Campbell. Yeah, I could imagine that, mate. Bad timing, if ever there was one. An instance in which you didn't want packet loss or just to add insult to injury. An incident on the racetrack, that was that. Unfortunate for you and Simon Mesmo as well. Here comes Lazarus to 21st. As Paul Wood comes to pit lane, I think it was.
Yes.
Yep. And so too Joe Baldwin. So he's come to pit lane as well. Lazarus gets clear track. Simon Mesmo goes with him, but we know Mesmo needs to come to pit lane yet. Hayne, Gomez, Chook Fung Wong, Jepson, Muir, Snadden and Fever, Rogers, Schultzen aren't at the top 10, but we are far from a cleansed field at this point. Half race distance at Circuit Zolder.
Lazarus with 7 seconds worth of clear track now. It's exactly what he needs if he wants to overcut the likes of Hayne, Gomez and Chook Fung Wong. Something must have happened while we were going, because Chook's just lost a position to Adam Jepson as well. But Haynes 7 seconds clear of Gomes, and Jepson third is 15 seconds off the lead. I don't recall it being that stretched out when we lost the feed earlier on.
No. Correct. So there's going to be a few I's to dot and T's to cross here as we go on, just to try and make sense of it, folks. We'll do our best.
I wonder if there's actually been more stuff like Patrick Klein. Obviously, we know Paul Wood, Russell Gant. I wonder if all those guys have made their stops as well, and that's why we're not quite getting the full picture.
And we don't have that information to pass on, which is unfortunate. Chook Fung Wong and Jack Rogers to pit lane right now too. So just bear with us, folks. Actually, Josh Zuno, just quickly, is your timing still running on the secondary SDK screen? If I open that, will that give us a bit more of a reference with regards to timing?
Yeah, it should be, mate. I'll flick through a link.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And then hopefully we'll make some more sense of that.
So we know Chook was battling for second with Mark Gomes, with Lazarus behind before the stops going, and Chook's just come out, what, about 9 seconds behind Lazarus. So in that theory, it's probably Lazarus is probably on track to be around Mark Gomes and about 6 seconds off Adam Hayne at the moment.
All right, so Corey Lazarus, Chook Fung Wong, Eduardo Zamora, Joe Baldwin, Vinny Newen, Patrick Klein, Paul Wood, Russell Gander, then Tristan Kosh, Jonathan Hooper, Greg Heaney have all pitted. Barry Punter's got back out there a lap down. Bondi's on pit lane right now a lap down, so I'm looking forward to the post-race report from him. Eli Donaldson parked up and done. Ryan Campbell may as well be. Because based on 75% race distance, he's not making that, which is unfortunate for him. Adam Hayne leads, Mark Gomez second, and in comes Nick Wood. Well, that's exactly right, Rain. Good point. Better to have the issue here than in the next 2 rounds. And I guess that's the other thing as well, boys. Particularly you, Daniel Benefield. I mean, Simon Mesmo and Ryan Campbell, they both have, not that you'd want it, they both have drop rounds to fall back upon, which is a luxury that some don't at this point of the season, particularly Corey Lazarus and Mark Gomez, as we say. But you wouldn't want to have it happen next week or the week after, because as Ryan correctly highlights, there are more points up for grabs next week and the week after, because we've got an enduro format over 1 hour next week, and then 3 races instead of the usual 2 for a sprint round the week after that. So, I mean, he's right. Best for it to happen tonight, and fingers crossed it doesn't happen again.
More points over the next 2 rounds as well. The other thing is you don't really want to end up relying on a drop round in the next 2 weeks. You'd rather rely on it this week rather than the last, particularly the last one. You don't want to be relying on your drop round come Phillip Island. As looks like Jepson's just pitted from third, as well as Snadden.
Indeed.
But yeah,
here.
Going back to the championship pitch, definitely don't want to. You'd definitely rather use the drop round this week rather than the next 2. More points in the next 2, and just the fact that you're not relying on a drop round to get you through to the potential championship come the end of Phillip Island in 2 weeks' time.
Pit lane hub of activity at the moment. Dane Snadden, Dean Hunt also joining Adam Jepson on there. And Yeah, that's a good point for Wayne. 40 points being a drop, 40 points that he gets back from a previous drop round. So he's still in a competitive position here. The unknown is Corey Lazarus. Where does he finish in the grand scheme of things here? Everyone ahead of him yet to stop. He's pushing Paul Wilson along at the moment. This is for top 10 on the racetrack with the 9 ahead of him still to stop. And the interesting thing is as well, he's 45 seconds away from Adam Hayne. So this is Hayne's race to lose because I'm not sure what transit time is at the moment, quite frankly.
Well, last
time
around, Lazarus was 9/10 slower as Hayne comes in, so we'll know the gap come the end of this lap. But 9/10 slower for Lazarus last time around versus Adam Hayne, as we see the HTS Racing Porsche on the lane, which means Mark Goins will assume the lead.
And it's a long pit lane as well. Important to note, it is a long pit lane.
It is a long pit lane, but I think Hayne still hasn't. Hayne has had that clear air, as Lazarus, yeah, most of the cars that are for position have been getting out of his way, but he's still got to pass them. He's still losing time behind them. 9/10 last time around. I think Hayne should have this race.
Not only is it Adam Hayne on pit road there, it's a long pit road. That's number one. Number two is it's a long pit exit. It goes out around the outside of the Armco barrier at turn 1. Yes, he's well and truly got Lazarus covered, but Lazarus now has clear air, so he can actually have a crack at this. Hayne is well clear. If Hayne doesn't repeat the form of race 1 and throw it down the road late in the piece, it is his to lose, as it was always going to be, provided that he ticked the boxes correctly after being the beneficiary of an invert that he wouldn't have had if he didn't make that mistake in the first place. So, I mean, it's a glass half empty sort of glass half full moment for Adam Hayne.
I think Goins might have Lazarus as well, to be honest, given the gap before the stop was 7 seconds between Hayne and Goins, and the gap between Hayne and Lazarus now is 9.5. Well, we're about to find out, because here comes Mark Goins onto the pit lane. But I think it's going to be a bit closer, but I think Goins will still have him covered.
Relative to Simon Massimo and relative to Rain Campbell, this is a win for Sam Muir. We know that. And it's a win for Corey Lazarus as well. So the two 1-9 boys and Blackout OPR boys, respectively, that needed to tick the boxes tonight, geez, they have done that and then some. Watch Gomez on pit lane now. It's a hub of activity there because you've got Gomes, Muir, Fever, Schultz and Christensen. Hayne around the outside of Chapman.
That was the inside. He outbroke himself. I think Chapo might have made contact. Chapo now trying to go around the outside, but Hayne will hold the position for now.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Adam Hayne went deep on the inside of turn 1, and as a result, he almost turned himself around on Chapo's nose.
But is Chapo trying to do what he did earlier in the night? Is he trying to not stop?
I would guess so, given that he was pretty far at the front earlier on, and now he's not made a pit stop, and he's still behind the race leader.
He's only two. He's one of only two. Dale Atkin's the other one yet to stop. Now Adam Hayne has the fastest lap of the race with 25.589. Chapman right behind him. Gomez has come out in third, 1.3 ahead of Lazarus. That was 2 seconds at the end of the pit stop. So Gomez is losing time, hemorrhaging time, in fact, to Corey Lazarus. That's important to note, because if Lazarus can salvage third, second here even, it's as good as a win for him. It's a round win as well, irrespective of what happens, because everyone that started around him tonight has tripped up in this race, with the exception of Sam Muir.
And it'll mean, in terms of the championship, that he's gained points on everyone that's around him. Like you would have gained points on Gomes. He would have gained points. There you go. So he's not going to stretch it. But he'll gain points on. He won't gain points on Lazarus because he can't gain points on himself. He'll gain points on Gomes. He'll gain points on Mizomo. He'll gain points on Campbell, and he'll gain points on Muir. So Muir is actually only P5. He's not come through the field, and he's under pressure from not just Dane Snadden, but Chuk Van Wong as well.
So, exciting times here. We always knew it was going to be an exciting race, this one. It has delivered and then some. Leader of the open split at the moment is Craig Schultz ahead of Glenn Ardent and Eduardo Zamora. The biggest movers include Corey Lazarus up 7, Nick Wood up 10, Dean Hunt up 18, David Christensen up 13, Vinny Newen down up, 19 positions into 17th spot, up 9 for Joe Baldwin, the 25th, what might have been for Trucker had it not been for that very late race incident in race 1. He was 200 metres from home and it all went belly up. Jack Rogers has unfortunately lost 7 spots and has gone back to 31st, so it's just gone from bad to worse for him. Dale Atkins has now returned to the racetrack after transiting pit lane, so the field is clear. Moment for Adam Lavis. Jeez, he did well to catch that. Holding on to 12th outright. Under pressure from Glen Arden at the moment. And we are 2 laps from home. Lap 16 is underway. So, actually, have a look at the clock, boys. 22:22, right? It's a 27-minute feature. I reckon we've been a little bit generous there. I reckon we could have got one more in. I reckon we could have gone 18. So we've actually gifted iRacing some coin there, because we're doing one less lap than what we could have got in the time allotted, but that's okay. It won't matter because Adam Haynes 7.5 seconds up the road. This is a win for him that will soften the blow of throwing it away, a top 3 finish, I should say, in race 1. Gomez now under pressure from Lazarus. There it is on your screen for everybody to enjoy on the left-hand side. Enormous air from Gomez as well. What's he got there? Is that a
slow down? Lazarus has a slow down.
He does. You're right, and that'll be all Gomez needs now. That's all Gomez needs to keep Lazarus at bay, I reckon, with a lap and a half to go. So Gomez now, the pressure is off. Can we get a better look at the front of Lazarus? Is that a tribute to the NRL or something similar logo? Have a look at that.
On the between the light and the wheel.
On the bonnet. No, on Gomez. Sorry, boys, Gomez.
No, I don't.
No, it's not. No, it just the colour of it. It looked like the NRLW logo. It really did for a moment there. Down the main straight, white flag in the air. One more time around. Let's go.
I'll tell you what, Lazarus isn't done here. It's already back down to 6/10. He might be able to have a go at the end of the lap. We'll see how close he gets. There's a little bit of lap traffic as well that they might have to contend with in the form of Jack Rogers and Dale Atkins as well. So actually the gap between Atkins and Lazarus is all over Gomes. Gomes has struggled through the first sector and Lazarus is right there.
Indeed he is. Here we go. Keep your eyes peeled on this. It could be a last gasp effort off the right. Oh geez. A little bit of late action on the racetrack. Craig Bond down a lap. Barry punter back to pit road. Here comes Lazarus all over the back of Gomez. Cannot afford to put a wheel wrong here. Lights ablaze. Sun setting in Belgium. Adam Haynes going to win this by the length of the straight and then some. But the battle for second is on in earnest. It'll be round on as irrespective of his finishing position for Corey Lazarus. Big time punt. Oh boy, wide goes Gomez. Here we go, one last roll of the dice. Adam Haynes victorious from the invert pole to race win. But look at this. Lazarus is throwing everything out of the and some. They'll come to the main straight. He goes to the outside. He's off the road. Gomez will hold on a second. What a fight that was. Lazarus third, Jepson fourth, Muir fifth. Then Chuck Van Wallen, Shannon Fever, Snadden, Nick Wood, and Sam Chapman make up the top 10. Wowee. Craig Schultz to win the open split, boys. Ahead of Adam Lavis in 12th place outright, but obviously Adam's in the elite split now. Eduardo Zamora will be second of the opens and Glenn Arnott third. Well done to Craig Schultz. He's been formidable in the open split since he joined a few weeks back. This championship fight is nice and spicy, Daniel Benefield.
Yes, indeed. It'll be interesting to see how the points work out. Obviously, we'll have a drop round used for Campbell and Mazzomo most likely. In this case, after their poor results, Mazzomo got back to 19th, which is 14th in the elite class. So I don't think there'll be enough to recover enough points to not use a drop round for Mazzomo. But I think Muir now should have I say comfortable compared to what the gap's been so far this season.
Indeed. How about that, eh? Oh boy. Good stuff. Very entertaining broadcast is the comment from Stewie Ellis. Thank you. Unfortunate for Jack, the comment from Project 36. Very entertaining indeed. But we knew the high stakes at play here tonight, didn't we, Daniel? We knew what was at risk. We knew what was on the line. We knew that it was going to be a pressure cooker for all the right reasons. It had all the right ingredients. Dry weather, didn't matter whether it was dry or wet. It was always going to be a pressure cooker because of the difficulty of this racetrack. It's not straightforward. It's a case of... there were limited overtaking opportunities, and we saw that the pressure got to the guys in the early stages. I mean, yep, sure, Rain had a packet loss issue afterwards, but the problem was before that with the contact with Simon Mesmo. That was the defining moment for both of them. The high stakes at play there, the urgency required for those guys to, when the whips were cracking, get cracking, I mean, they needed to push their way through at a fairly swift rate in terms of trying to go with Adam Hayne, trying to go with Corey Lazarus, and it tripped people up.
I think the surprising part was that they got caught up with themselves. I thought they'd get caught up with the other cars around them, not necessarily in the championship picture as they came back through the top 10. But what ended up happening is Lazarus managed to clear them all very quickly off the start. I think he got through very cleanly off a very good start. And then Campbell and Mazzomo got caught up with each other, and Campbell just tapping the back of Mazzomo around, and it all kicked off from there, really.
Indeed it did. There are the results for you on screen. Hello, Andrew McGrath tuning in as well. We'll have the top three joining us for a chat in just a moment. I've got my little mate Bondi standing by as well. So there are the results for you. Fair rate of attrition in the end, but I mean, look at this. We had, what did we have? 35 starters and 33 got home. That's not too bad. There was more attrition in the first race when Stroud and Rees dropped out of the fight, and Isles and Swan and Shinkfield were non-starters. So the attrition was high in the first race, but it was low in the second race. And in the end, we're done on the platforms of the GSRC for another week. 4 races still to go in this championship fight. And what a fight it has been so far. What a fight it promises to be in the final 2 weeks. We won't have, I dare say we won't have the updated championship points for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but we know that there's going to be drop rounds at play coming into the equation for a couple of our contenders. We know that there's going to be a tightening of the gap at the top of the field because Corey Lazarus is on his way. It's been fantastic viewing so far. Daniel, what are your takeaways from tonight as regards to what the next 2 weeks might offer?
Obviously, we missed Corey Lazarus last week. He wasn't able to make it, but he's come back with a vengeance and still showing that even though he essentially has a 0-point counting now towards his championship points, he is still within half a shot of this. He's still definitely in the picture, as is Mark Gomes. But Sam Muir, and surely from here, has a slight command in the championship, given that he will comfortably outscore Mazzomo and Campbell tonight, and given the fact he was only, I want to say, 4 points behind Campbell coming in. So he'll take the lead of the championship back from the Black Hat OPR car. The amazing thing is, though, is that Sam Muir is going to be leading this championship once again, 8 rounds in, without winning a single race.
Yep. It's quite extraordinary, there's no doubt about that. Just marvellous entertainment so far throughout the course of the season. We've got Corey Lazarus currently in race control with Christian Koch. Hopefully after that, Lazarus will come and have a chat with us. Craig Bond's here in the meantime. Bondy, talk us through that one, please. Are you there, Craig? I can't hear Craig at the moment for some reason. We'll have to get back to him. He does live in Gundagai, folks, so the internet's temperamental at the best of times down there. We'll get back to him very shortly. In the meantime, Adam Haynes dropped by the booth as well. And Adam, to be fair, I mean, it's a cushioning blow, really, isn't it? Because well done on the race win, but you should never have been starting P1 in that invert. A small mistake proved rather costly towards the back end of race 1. You dropped down to 10, you sustained a little damage, you limped the car home on the final lap. Probably lucky that it was the final lap. You could nurse the car home, and therefore you gifted the clear air and the clear view out the mirror, out the windscreen for the second race. And I mean, presented with an opportunity out of a frustrating sort of situation or scenario, but at least you were able to make the most of that and convert it, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, mate. That first race didn't go quite to plan, but that's what you get with minimal practice and a bit of a wheelie bin of a car. But yeah, I was able to convert in the second race, which these things with the clear air, they're pretty hard to beat once you're out in front. So yeah, just flat full throttle and yeah, all good.
And I guess as well, mate, imperative that you didn't repeat the mistake of race 1 in race 2, and you were aware of that as you went about your business. And in the end, 8.7 seconds is just a fair reflection of A, the pace you had, but also the challenges faced by everybody else just trying to get their way through and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Just sort of backed it off in the last few laps, trying to make sure I didn't make a mistake. I haven't really got my head around these cars yet since I got their update, and I don't know whether I will, but yeah, it's good to capitalise on it.
Thoughts on the circuit? A tricky one, a challenging one, but I mean, everybody's in the same boat at this point of the championship.
Yeah, I used to like the circuit before the update.
Right.
The first chicane's a lot harder now. It's, my first lap in practice, I went out and put it on its roof through there, so and I was only in first gear, so yeah, it's a bit different through there, and I don't know, everything seems a bit tighter sort of thing. Grip seems to be up on it though, but yeah, it's coming into the end of the year. Those next 2 tracks I haven't really driven on, so that'll be interesting. See how it goes.
Well, how familiar are you with them? I mean, Phillip Island's the last round. Surely you're familiar with that one. You've seen it on telly 1,000 times. The Saxon Ring is home to MotoGP's German Grand Prix each year, so it's not as synonymous with four-wheel racing, but it offers up an interesting challenge in its own right.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even own it, so we'll see which. I don't know which way the turn 1 goes, so it'll be interesting.
Well, I'll give you a hand. It's right. It's a right-handed turn 1. But then there's a lot of left-handers on that circuit, so I hope your car is set up accordingly. However, you don't factor in this championship fight at the moment, mate. You're down in 7th. You were down in 7th coming into the round. Still a lot of points to be taken here. There's still a lot up for grabs. We're 2 weeks from home. Are you aware of the importance of the role that you may play with the pace that you have at the moment in the final 2 weeks, that you might not be able to, be in contention, but you could definitely, hold sway and have a say in how it fares for everybody else that is in contention?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a rough start to the year, so I know that I can put a swing on things, but I mean, we're here to race, and race we will, I think.
Right now, we look at everything that's happening at this time of the year. Normally, it's at this point of the year we're waiting for iRacing to do their usual patch updates and content drops. Outside of the Porsche, what's keeping you busy on the iRacing platform at the moment, and what's catching your fancy with what's coming up?
Whatever's got 4 wheels, mate. So I had a run in the trucks there not long ago, in the NAS trucks there not long ago, and I sort of like them, and doing a bit of GT3 racing. I'm not locked down to anything. I just drive whatever I want to drive.
Now, refresh my memory here, because I'm a little bit patchy on it. Was it you or the other Hayne that jumped the gun at Brands Hatch that time?
That's not me.
No, yeah, it's Todd. Right, gotcha.
Yeah,
because I was going to say, at least it's not contagious then.
yeah, like it doesn't run in the family, hopefully. Yeah.
Now, with regards to the trucks, because you mentioned that. I mean, I could sit here and talk about the Porsches, but it feels as though we've covered off enough content there. I might have one or two more questions for you in a moment, but with regards to the trucks, they differ greatly to what we've got here, because 7 of the 10 circuits on that calendar are ovals. You're only turning left. How are you finding that as a unique challenge?
Yeah, not too bad. I haven't ran too many ovals. I sort of just jumped in for the road circuit ones, but yeah, ovals, it's same. It's just turning left, man. It's pretty easy. The traffic's the hard part, I suppose. There's a lot of wrecks and cautions, and it's all a bit different to get used to.
Indeed, and just coming back to the Porsches for a moment. I mean, I'm just having a look through your stats here. Third last week. There was an 18th, unfortunately, in race 1 at Brands Hatch in the tipping down rain. 14th the week before. You had a sprint win at Barber Motorsport Park, of course, and the 19th to follow that up. 8th, 22nd, 11th, and 11th. I mean, it's been a mixed bag this season. You mentioned about getting your head around these cars since they've had, you know, a couple of updates thrown at them by iRacing. Do you feel as though you've got there?
No, not at all. Not from a driver standpoint or a setup standpoint. I feel like it's somewhere in between a wheelie bin and a billy cart.
Matt Broom, I'm assuming a friend of yours throwing you under the bus at the moment. SVG wannabe. He's commenting in relation to you. Is that a friend of yours?
Yeah, it's a friend of mine. He's referring to truck race there not long ago at Chicago. Pulled it by a fair bit and then ran away with it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I was going to say, I wasn't sure if he was throwing you under the bus or being kind, but nice to see that you knew exactly what, pieces of the puzzle to connect to the dots to make sense of that for us. Hey, well done, mate. Great performance tonight, obviously. 10th in race 1, what might have been there, because you had the pace. You were fighting with, I think it was Sam Muir at the time, were you not?
Yeah, that's right. We're coming back through. We sort of got a bit of a bad start, and we're coming back through, and we just got back into the dirty air, and it just looped itself. So that's what it is.
It is indeed. But you can't get it in race 2, and that's all that matters, mate. Second race win of the season. Go and celebrate that. Well done. Look forward to seeing how you go with mastering Saxonring next week.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to the team, Special Sales, Harvey Norman, all the blokes in between. Thank you.
Well done, mate. There is Adam Hayne, our race 2 winner tonight. So we've had 3 races and 3 different winners, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Chapman, Corey Lazarus, and of course Adam Hayne as well. Speaking of Corey, he's here standing by. Before I get to him, Bondi, Earth to Bondi, are you back with us now? No, Craig Bond. The lights are on, Bondi, but I can't hear you.
You got me?
I do now. That's much better. It's a little bit slow, the relay, the delay down to Gundagai. Good evening, mate. I tried to get to you before we went to Adam there, but the lights were on, but no one was home yet again. However, make sense of that for me in terms of how you fared in that race. It says 32nd here, it says a lap down. That's unfortunate. You had an okay run in race 1. You gained a few spots on the final lap, avoiding all the carnage and chaos happening there. But obviously race 2 wasn't so kind to you.
Had to pit. When did I pit? I pitted sometime through the race because through the first chicane, I binned it into the wall and then got steering damage. And then when it came into the pits to do the thing, I may or may not have hit the wall on the entry to the pits, and then got a drafter as well for the incident points.
That'll trip you up every time. Those incident points. Could you imagine if we had those in Formula 1? Jeez. We'd be serving incident pit lane penalties every lap. Hey, however, solid drive from you regardless, because you're able to at least persevere with it and get through to the end. Disappointing that it played out the way that it did, and hugely different taking the GT4 out in the rain as opposed to dealing with the Porsche GT3 in the dry, mate. That's something that, you know, not everyone can just click the switch and adapt to at the required time in terms of, you know, I mean, Chapo, even Muir, they can just jump out of one car, jump into the other, and it's a seamless transition. How do you find it?
I'm fine with doing the swap between the two. It's just, what is this, like my third week of owning iRacing. So I'm still having to learn the game and the cars and stuff. I need to do more Porsche Cup practice, I know that, because I do not have the 1 lap pace, but get me behind someone in a race and I'll go and do the quickest laps.
And I was going to say the Porsche GT3 a little bit different to the GT3 that you were running around Fuji last weekend.
I don't have the Porsche T3, so I've got this Porsche Cup and then the McLaren GT3.
Yeah, that's right. And so, I mean, yes, you're getting a lot of seat time, but it's just that you've got to better manage that time that is dedicated to each category that you're running.
Yeah, I reckon in terms of the GT3, I've got heaps of experience in it. But in terms of this one, I probably need to get a bit more in the Porsche Cup and maybe the GT4.
Yep.
But I reckon next week I'm going to start making myself little goals, like finish top 20 in Porsche Cup, top 10 in GT3s, and top 8 in GT4s or something. Just like have little achievements to tick off.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
That's all I have to say for that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. A couple before I let you go, because I want to ask you about GT4 and of course Porsches for next week. But before that, when you look at the 1 lap pace there in the GT4, it wasn't as bad because, I mean, as we said, you started 9th, you finished 9th, you had the potential to go up a little bit higher than that had it not been for an early mistake in GT4. So what's the difference between having the 1 lap pace in the GT4 as opposed to not having it in the Porsche?
I actually don't know, maybe confidence, because I've got to swap from the GT4 to Porsche Cup with, if I'm lucky to have 10 minutes practice. Yeah, that's where I got second damage.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't help when you become a moving target, Craig.
Yeah. I think 10 minutes of practice, I have to learn those things to practice in it and jump to something else.
Yeah.
Oh, from something else.
Yep. Next week, unlike tonight, I mean, tonight you had relatively the same track to deal with. Next week, a bit different. Brands Hatch, Saxon Ring. Not Brands Hatch, Donington Park, I should say. Donington Park for the GT4 and obviously the Saxon Ring in Germany for GT3. I mean, at least you've only got one race at both venues to contend with, but the Saxon Ring, it's the unknown entity because we've never taken these cars there before.
I've done enough laps in MotoGP, and that's probably not going to help at all. But, oh no. I'm just watching the live stream now of it. But it's going to be, I'll just have to do practice next week for that race.
Indeed, but before that, you've actually got something more important to contend with, and that is that you're on the road tomorrow morning heading to the home of the Dubbo Zoo, but not going to the zoo, you're going to the Kart Club and the Dubbo Gold Cup. What are your thoughts on that and how you might fare?
It'll give me good practice for Sebring to do with the bumps.
I like it. I agree with you. If it's as bumpy as what it was when I was there in 2002 and 3, yes, it will serve you well for Sebring. Righto, mate. Go well. Good luck with that. And I look forward to getting updates over the course of the weekend. That does, unfortunately for you, bite into your time to race, or prepare, I should say, for next Monday night. But at least Monday afternoon after school, you'll be able to jump in.
Sunday night when I get home, no matter how late it is, I'll be doing a lap of Sebring. At least I know that much.
I'm looking forward to the Snapchat already. Hey, well done, mate. Thank you for that. Well done tonight. At least you got there and got to the finish line. A solid result in GT4. And, of course, as far as the GT3 Porsche was concerned, let me just have a look. How big was the open split tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, so 15 actually. So there were a couple that didn't start in your split in the second race and the first race as well. So, I mean, at least you got the better of Barry Punter in the second race. You got it better than a few more in the first race, mate. So it's a competitive field, that open split. There's no easy race here in the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, as you know. But as you say, it's a work in progress and you're chipping away at it quite nicely. Good luck in Dubbo. We look forward to following the progress.
Thank you. And these are some of the best drivers I've raced against, I reckon. On iRacing, at least.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
My real life races too.
Well, I hope anyone that's an opponent of yours going into Dubbo this weekend didn't hear that, because they'll set out with a point to prove. You'll have a target on your back.
It's fine. I've only got team that have been messaging about Dubbo, so.
Oh, very good.
For that matter.
Love it. All right, mate. Thank you. Good work. We'll press on here, and we look forward to catching up next week.
Thank you. See ya.
And last cab off the rank, no one else terribly keen to come and have a chat to us tonight. So Daniel Corriasaro and I might get a bit of an early mark here. We were anticipating about 10:30. We might get out at 25 past. Depends how long Corey Lazarus wants to stick around and have a chat for. Good evening, mate. Well done. You ticked as many boxes as you could tonight. You won race 1. You clawed your way back through the field as best you could in race 2, and obviously you're already aware of the issues for Rain Campbell and Simon Mesmos. So as far as the championship's concerned, you're right in this fight.
Yeah, good evening. We will be somewhere there or thereabouts, I would like to think. Held the end of Phillip Island. Yeah, a bit of fun tonight. 40 cars around a track that's less than 90 seconds. It's always going to be pretty challenging to negotiate, but yeah, super fun. It's an awesome little track.
Indeed it is. And with regards to that, qualifying was so imperatively important. Thankfully, one like pace is something that's in your wheelhouse, in your arsenal. The start was critical. You converted that as well. And from there, once you got to the front, mate, you were never headed. You just took off into the sunset. In race 1, at least.
Yeah, it's so much easier, isn't it, when there's no one in front of you. I was sort of just racing my Delta in that first race and managed to get a 0x for that race, a couple of bonus points extra there as well, which will help, and the fastest lap I think in that one. Yeah, always so much easier when there's no one to battle with. The other boys had good pace behind us, but they were just stuck fighting each other, so it just allowed us to sort of stay cool and drive off.
And on that subject, speaking of the pace around you, what was the tactical thinking behind pitting early in the second stint, knowing that you were going to probably come out in traffic either way, whether you went long or short in that opening stint?
The thought was I didn't want to get stuck behind Shark and Mark, and I wasn't too sure how aggressive they'd be in defence, so I took a punt. It didn't really pay off, because like you said, I came out in a bit more traffic and had to follow a few cars. Didn't really look after the tyres all that well in that second race, and couldn't really put in good lap times down, unfortunately. So yeah, probably something to look at, but didn't really pay off, unfortunately.
No, however, the championship combatants were kept at bay, and that's probably the most important thing for you. I mean, really, as you say, 40 cars around here on a circuit that's less than 90 seconds to get around. But also, more than that, Corey, it's a tight circuit, and overtaking opportunities come at a premium. So there would have been, on your part, I guess, going into that invert top 10, knowing that you were outside the fifth row there, an element of risk management applied to your racecraft in that 27-minute affair?
Yeah, absolutely. When we got onto the grid for that second race and I saw ads starting off pole, is, you know, as much as it pains me to say, it's sort of resigned to the fact that there wouldn't be a W, because he's just, you know, he's got, you know, really good pace. So I really wanted to get another 0x race in that one, and we were going well for quite some time, and then that evaporated quite quickly at some stage. Yeah, there was risk management for sure. Really just wanted to make as many places as possible.
Indeed. That all seemed to go fairly well for you. You'll win the round. We just don't know the margin as yet. We won't know that till morning when Adam Lavis punches the numbers for us, because I dare say that he won't be doing them tonight. He's got an early start on a Friday morning, as does Daniel Carrier-Sarr. So that brings me to Saxon Ring. Knowing that you haven't got any drop rounds at your disposal, knowing that both Simon Mesmo and Ryan Campbell have burned one tonight, that ups the ante, doesn't it, and raises the stakes and the pressure and the intensity of the next 2 weeks, particularly when we go to a place where not many people have turned too many laps on the iRacing platform, least of all on the Porsche, mate. It'll be the first time that we've taken the GSRC Spreyton Zolder Porsche Cup to the Saxon Ring. Have you purchased the circuit yet?
Yeah, purchased the circuit just a couple of days ago. Haven't really done any laps, and I was telling the boys in the chat that I was getting dizzy because you know, the first time on a new track, you're trying to learn it, and it just goes around and around and around, and felt like we were a bit of motion sickness. Actually, it was quite funny. But yeah, looking forward to putting some good practice this week and getting up to speed on it. Unfortunate for the other lads tonight with their results, but it probably spices things up a little bit going into the last 2 rounds, and I think Saxon Ring's going to be wet.
Why not?
Yeah, make it really interesting. Love Phillip Island, absolutely can't wait for that one. So, yeah, really, I mean, after missing 3 championship rounds, it makes it very difficult to probably win this, but I need things to go right. Probably need to put it on pole, both races, go 0x races with bonus points and set fast laps, which is pretty much what we have to do to try and be competitive. We're quite a way back now, I think, from those other lads.
Indeed. And then, I mean, obviously, the other element about the Saxon Ring is it's that long form 60-minute affair, so fatigue and other things does come into it. Let me ask you one more question with regards to that moment that we're seeing on screen there, mate. Did you cop yourself a slowdown late in the piece because you were getting a little bit flirtatious with the curving there at the chicane?
Yeah, I copped the slowdown. First one of the night, unfortunately, because I was
only one.
I was poised. I was poised for an attack with 2 laps to go. Yeah, it was highly disappointing. Actually, I was quite disappointed. Yeah, what do you do?
He's unlucky.
Make little things like that happen.
I guess you were even luckier the lap before, though, because we saw the hang time, the air time you got the lap before. You were probably lucky not to have the car snap out from under you and send you either left or right.
Yeah, it's a tiny fraction of a second that you've got to get this car in the perfect spot to keep full throttle through that chicane, and I just missed it. But still trying to go full throttle, and yeah, just stepped out. Wasn't overly comfortable at the time, which was a bit of a bummer, because, you know, once you make those tiny little mistakes and you have a little oversteer moment, you superheat your rears, so you pay for it over the next few corners before your tyres come back to you. So one little mistake, you know, lose a couple of tenths on that corner, it cascades into a few more tenths on the next corner and a few more tenths on the next corner. So it was, yeah, it was disappointing, but it was still a fun race, and gave Mark a little bit of a bump on the last hairpin, which I really didn't intend on doing it. Unfortunately happened. Yeah, give him a good little push on the hairpin.
You were just letting him know you were there. There's nothing wrong with that. And to be fair, very rare that you have to get the elbows out like that because you're normally too far in front that we don't have to really worry about you. And what was interesting was the Denchmark, the one and the only Matty Dench was tuning in and backed you in for the double. So it might have been a slight mocker put on you by Matty Dench there. However, no, when he's paying attention, you know you're doing something right. There's no doubt about that. Well done, mate. Can't wait to catch up after next Thursday night and see where things sit with regards to that final round of the championship, which we're a tantalising affair at Phillip Island over 3 races. An absolute pressure cooker. We've seen plenty of action there in the past. It sets the stage for a memorable night at the office and one in which my voice box might be in a little bit of trouble by the end of it. Go well for the next 7 days. Look forward to catching up with you after the Saxon Ring round. Go well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, also thanks Matty for the backing me in. It was probably never going to happen, but yeah, Phillip Island's going to be a ripper too, Zach. Sorry to hold you up, but
you're right, you go.
I can imagine that 95% of the field has done 10 million laps around Phillip Island as it is, so there's going to be super tight margins again, not an overly long track, minute 30 or so. So it's be a lot of fun. But, can't wait, mate. It's going to be awesome.
It promises to be an absolute beauty, mate. We cannot wait to bring it to the audience in a fortnight's time with the invert top 10 in that second race and the championship decider, the third and final one of the night there. And no doubt as well, Corey, you're aware of this already, mate. I mean, yes, we've got 4 championship contenders, you being number 4. I mean, we're not ruling Mark Gomez out of it technically, but mathematically it'll be getting close. In saying that as well, when you look at the Porsche Cup standings, I mean, it's a case of what might have been for a few people that have the pace but haven't been here all season, mate. So when you look at the uncertainties regarding Phillip Island and all the different ingredients that could get thrown in there, and the potential for some ring-ins as well that come in just because it's Phillip Island, it spices things up even more, doesn't it?
Yeah, you bet. It'll be ultra competitive. Seriously, it could just be a matter of a couple of points in the championship coming into that last race. If we do get some weather at either of those tracks, Mez throws his hat back, in the ring, because one, he's obviously up there already, but 2, he's super good in the wet. And yeah, everyone's going to be hungry. I think it's relatively open, the top few spots for the final 2 rounds. It'll be really good.
Oh yeah. Next one, next week, the Saxon Ring is the make or break moment of the season, I do believe, basically because it is a fresh track, not just for the drivers, but for us as well. I think it'll be our first broadcast race, mine at least, from the Saxon Ring on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. We're very excited about that. Go get some sleep, Corey. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the Blackout OPR boys. Always good for some really good support and chat and data sharing all this through the week, so appreciate that. We'll see you.
No, thank you, mate. Well done. You're welcome anytime. Saxon Ring next, Phillip Island after that. 4 races left in this championship. We crown our champion Thursday, December 5. Make a note of that. So next Thursday night, the 28th of November, is the Saxon Ring. December 5 for the finale from Phillip Island. We end the season with the Radicals, the Downforce Legends, on December 6 as well, to see out the regular season as far as our normal interim 10-week championships are concerned. But there's some great stuff coming away on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Before I run through and wrap everybody up, Daniel Benefeld has left the room. He had to see himself out a little bit early tonight, and so too has Josh Zuno. That leaves just Daniel Criasar and I. Some thoughts from you, mate, some final thoughts from you on what's been a very entertaining night at the office.
Yeah, it was interesting couple of races tonight. We had the GT4s were a blast around Zolder. I don't know. We started off this night saying that we don't even know what the difference was with Zolder Ultimate. but I'm thinking I like the alternate better.
Yeah. I don't think Joe Baldwin will agree with you.
No, that's fair. When you've got he was expecting a 1-2 chicane, not a 1-2-3. That added car made it a bit difficult, but no, I just really like how it flows at the end there rather than the harder braking, tighter chicane. So yeah, I'm a big fan actually. But yeah, seeing how these two sprint races unfolded here for Porsches, if I had to mention one thing, it's like Sam Chapman having a broken car,
yes,
and still managing to not stop, fuel save, and win.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
That's an effort right there. Unfortunately, didn't have the same luck in Porsche Cup, but an amazing effort there for the GT4s.
6th in race 1, 10th in race 2 for Chapo in the Porsches. He was supposed to come back and grace us with his presence once more to chat about that, but he hasn't done, so hopefully he'll come and have a chat to us on Monday night. We can grill him about everything that's coming up on the platforms of the GSRC in week 9. On that subject, a big thanks to all the people scrolling across the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, that make it possible for us to do what we do here each Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and occasionally Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday as well. Spreyton, Cider, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Bowens, The Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, MWave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Now, with that in mind, here's the lay of the land for what's coming up over the course of the next 7 days here, live and free across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Once we've given all the sponsors their dues, Bowens, of course, front and centre tomorrow night for Bowens, The Builder's Choice. Oh, that was good timing. That was very good timing. Bowens, The Builder's Choice, Friday Night Motorsport for you live and free, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. That was a cracker last week from Circuit de Navarra. Let's see what Lebanon in France dishes up tomorrow night. 20 minutes for race 1, a full 30 minutes second race with the top 25 invert there. Joe Baldwin and I with you for that one. And, of course, Nick Fodiatis as well. I'm just a little bit disappointed. I should have petitioned for the start time to be pushed back half an hour just so I can sit there and watch the last half hour of the first day's play of the test match between Australia and India in Western Australia, but nevertheless I'll have it on rider screen as I do the big bash at the moment. Around the grounds in a sec, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night, Mountain Men, Mount Panorama, the Radical SR10. We continue that Downforce Legends theme, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time over 32 laps. Good luck to all concerned. And then week 9, the penultimate week of the season. Look at this. You beauty. Suzuka in the rain. So rain's a prominent theme next week. Suzuka in the rain for the LMP2 Challenge with thanks for Spreyton Cider. 30 minutes of the duration there, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. And then, of course, on to the Pro-Am split from Waste Options GT3 and a circuit that Nick Fodiatis will not be visiting, the Sebring International Raceway there in Florida. Sebring, the venue, 60 minutes the journey, 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time when it gets underway. Adam Lavis and I with you for that. Tuesday night, introductory formula, the FIA Formula 4s take you to Virginia. And that'll be a 3-race format there, full invert second race, top 10 invert third race. Plenty of overtaking to be done on Tuesday night from VIR and plenty of opportunities to do so, particularly in those cars. The main course on Tuesday night is JJZ Constructions Wings and Slicks. That's Super Formula Light, of course, from Imola. The Enzo Dino Ferrari circuit, 40 minutes to journey there, 9:15 Eastern Daylight Time. More on that in just a moment because Grand Final week is coming up and I believe we'll have both of those covered for you on Grand Final week, Tuesday, December 3. More on that in a moment. Wednesday night. Oh, here we go. This will be a beauty. The NASCAR Australia Orbic Australia NASCAR Truck Series for the GSRC from Road America over 18 laps. That'll be a good journey around there. 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Join the crew for that. Sam Chapman, Liam Banks with you for Wednesday Night Motorsport on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Then we go to the Super 3 round of the Super 2 series, Super 2, Super 3, Supercars, I should say. First up, Long Beach, the venue. The Super 3 race will be first up on the schedule for the 15-minute sprint. The 25-minute feature for Super 2 will feature a top 10 invert grid, and that will be the broadcast race of the features. So similar to what we do at GT3 sprint nights, we'll go 2 different races, 2 different splits, 2 different servers. So 3 first, 2 second, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Liam Banks and Sam Chapman with you for that one. Then next Thursday night, Daniel Benefield, who's on track to put me out of a job at the moment. He's doing a brilliant job here on a Thursday night in the co-commentary role. He'll be back with me, and Daniel Carriaso and Josh Zuno will be as well. The penultimate round for both the GT4 and Porsche Cups, which are on a knife's edge at the moment. The latter with thanks to the great people at Spreyton Cider, of course. GT4 leads us off from Donington Park, 40 minutes the journey, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Then a full hour of racing. So we do a little bit of overtime next Thursday night, of course, because the post-race show will probably go about 15 minutes later into the night than what tonight has done, as we go to the Sachsenring in Germany, the second and final 1 hour race of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup season, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, make a note in your diary as well, folks, excuse me, for December 1, and make a note for 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, midday New Zealand, 7 a.m. on the West Coast. Rather than the usual primetime PM hours that we're normally broadcasting for you. So this will be a mid-afternoon one for our mate Antonio there in the United States. He'll be loving life. I think 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time is 6 p.m. in the evening for him. So it'll be primetime viewing on a Saturday night. We will be with you. And I stress this, we will be with you for the Nürburgring 2.4. 2 hours, 24 minutes. Multi-class racing. The GT3s will feature. So too, these supercars. It's a special event that's being put together by Josh Zuno as we say farewell on one of the most notoriously difficult racetracks in the world to the Gen 2 supercar upon the arrival, or as we await the arrival, I should say, of Gen 3, which will be launching on our platforms at least Term 1 2025. December 1, 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then, of course, on the back end of that, December 11. So week 11 of the term, essentially. Night 3 of week 11 on December 11. The two 11s aligning there nicely in the 12th month of the year for you. For the second instalment of the Australian Open World Nationals for 2024 against the guys from SRW who want revenge. They weren't happy with Chapo's win at Silverstone. They want a square up. They want a rematch. They're getting one. It will be about 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time when we join the boys from SRW to bring you that race length and venue to be confirmed. But the second instalment of the Open World Nationals in the Super Formula Lights, pitting our best against their best, is coming your way on a Wednesday night when they've been racing all season on a Tuesday night. So hopefully they've already got that night clear in their diary. Around the grounds quickly, Hobart chasing 151 for victory are going to fall well short. Only 2 overs to go there. They're 7 for 111, so they need 40 runs in 11 balls. Fat bleeping chance. 7 for 111 in response to 5 for 150 for the Renegades. Earlier today, the match between the Scorchers and the Sixers, of course, ended in a draw. A match-tied situation, not just after regular time, the 20 overs, but also the super over as well. A 21-over tie. Very well done to all concerned there. Big weekend this weekend. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. We're excited about what's coming up. The test match tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time on 7 and Fox. Hopefully, as soon as that's done, you'll come and join us here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for Friday Night Motorsport as Week 8 draws to a close. What a night we've had here. Chapo with the fuel save to his first 40-minute race win of the season in GT4. Adam Hayne converting the invert on the back of a Corey Lazarus masterclass in the opening instalment of round 8 of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup in mixed conditions. Pelting down rain first up. I was going to say something else, but I thought, no, I better not. We're on broadcast. Pelting down rain first up for the GT4. And glorious sunshine for the Porsche Cup on a night that proved to be a sting in the tail for Simon Mesamile and Ryan Campbell. Thankfully, they've got drop rounds to fall back upon, but they won't be wanting to rest on those over the next couple of weeks. Hope you enjoyed it at home as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Go out and enjoy the rest of your week, folks. We look forward to your company back here tomorrow night. to do it all again with the Radicals from Redden. In the meantime, on behalf of Daniel Carrier and all the crew here, as well as Daniel Betterfield, Josh Suno, if you want to get involved, race.tgsrci.com is the place to go. If not, and you want to buy some stocking stuffers for the festive season, merch.tgsrci.com is where you go to buy some GSRC paraphernalia. Look forward to your company tomorrow night. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Until we meet again, I'm Zach Caban. It's bye for now.